It is Monday, March 1st. This week, PC Mike talks Arkham City. The Giggler has some more updates on Guy Fieri. We review and rate both Guardians of the Galaxy and WandaVision, the season finale. This is Mostly Superheroes. Hello and welcome to Mostly Superheroes, a weekly video podcast where we talk mostly superheroes, but also anything else worth watching. We review, we rate, we sometimes debate. I'm your host, Logan. Joining me, per usual, my co-hosts and peers, PC Mike and the Giggler. PC Mike, hello, welcome back. How was your week?
Week's great, man. Weather in the Midwest is kicking.
It's nice out there.
Feels good. I think like a monsoon's coming this weekend, but that's neither here nor there. But man, it's nice out. You know, spring is here. We got through the winter, and it's just good vibes. Good vibes, good shows, good things happening, great things happening with some mostly madness that we're going to talk about later.
Oh man, it's going to be sprinkled in throughout the episode today. So much fun is happening, and yeah, I am enjoying the sunshine. I've been going out during the mornings and the lunches, just standing in the sun, working from home, that's a break right there. Giggler, hello, welcome back. How was your week?
It was great. All's well. Like you said, weather's bomb. I'm ready to just do some outdoor stuff. I don't care what it is. Even if it's outdoor work, yard work, just bring it on, baby.
It's going to be a change, like having with summertime. It's been easy doing the podcast in the winter because we just want to get in here and be inside, but we're going to start wanting to do barbecues and stuff. We're going to have to. Maybe we'll do an outdoor pod one day even.
I would love that.
We could probably figure that out. We could figure it out. We got the garage outside. We've never taken people outside, really.
Yeah, you can do like a remote, like radio stations do remote broadcast all the time. You could do a remote podcast.
They make a case for the mixer and everything.
I'll reach out to my buddy Guy Fieri, see if he wants to cater maybe.
Sorry, it's pronounced Fieri.
Fieri.
I believe you told me last week.
Sounds like you might have been watching.
I didn't watch it. I've learned from watching our show. Okay. I was like, that's how you say Guy Fieri. All right, let's get into the show with our first segment of the day. Fan mail. All right, guys, fan mail is pretty fun today. We were featured on another podcast, unsolicited. No one asked me about it or anything. I literally just got tagged on Instagram by this podcast. It's on the screen. Shout out to our YouTube channel here. The podcast is called Creme de la Creator. It's a podcast that is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts, and it's hosted by Jake and Grant, a couple of folks across the pond, if you will.
Oh.
Yep. Yes.
That's my favorite part about this all.
Oh, absolutely. People are listening to our show all around the world. It's really cool.
I really thought you were getting ready to say across the river. And I was like, so they're in Illinois? What are they doing over there?
Across the river, just so you folks listening, St. Louis is just right across the river from Illinois. And over here, when we say across the river, that's what we mean. No, these are people across the pond over in Europe. I think in England, But I might need to confirm that. But yeah, Jake and Grant, they featured. It was great. Grant, I forget which one it was. One of the guys, though, actually listens to our show. He was featuring Mostly Superheroes, the music show. And he explained it perfectly. He was like, it's a spinoff.
So you're taking notes, listening, man, he did a really good job.
Well, you never know how people perceive the show outside of the three of us. Of course, we all know all this stuff. But this guy he listens. He's listened to our main show. He knew who you guys were.
Yeah.
And they gave us a raving review. It was so cool. I had no idea. It was a big surprise. And we got tagged on Instagram. So definitely want you guys to go find these guys just for the sake of, if you're a fan of this show, they talk about it. So it's Creme de la Creator. If you're watching on YouTube, just open up your Spotify app. You can actually scan this little QR code. I tested it. It works.
Wow, that's awesome.
So this is a little technology. We're bringing it on Mostly Superheroes for you, keeping it current. And you can follow them on Instagram at CDLC Podcast. So that's CDLC Podcast, all one word. Thank you, Jake and Grant, for the feature. We really appreciate it. And I'll just say this. After I listened to the episode with us, I listened to a couple more. You guys got a great show. Great program. These guys kind of cover all topics. their whole shtick is featuring creators in the digital world, the real world, people that are doing creative things, and they will talk about any topic. They have this 6-sided die that they roll every week, and that's how they decide what type of thing they're going to talk about that week. So number 6 was podcast, and that's why they brought on our show.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I thought it was only podcasts. I was like, so it's a podcast about other podcasts. That's the most genius thing I've ever heard.
It's a podcast about people making anything. They were talking about endometriosis and like how awareness of this is not really as prominent as it should be. They'll tackle any topic.
Okay.
They're super cordial, and they do a lot of good work in the community and stuff. So shout out to Creme de la Creator. Go listen to that where you get your podcast.
So, Andy, you thought it was like when Kramer was on Seinfeld and he made a coffee table book about coffee tables.
About coffee tables.
Exactly.
It's a genius idea.
It turns into a coffee table.
You know,
think of that first.
You know that there are. It was funny in one of their episodes. I think it was their pilot episode. They're like, we're just one of the other people that created a podcast during the pandemic. Which I was thinking, like, there's got to be a word for this, like, poddemic.
Yeah.
Whoa. I was going to go there.
Because you know there's going to be like another 2 million podcasters just like us that were like, hey, we're home all the time.
Or like on Arrested Development when he's a never nude, Tobias.
Yes.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Dozens. Love that show. All right, let's move on. Thanks again, guys. Definitely go check out Creme de la Creator. Last piece of fan mail today is really more of an update on the Mostly Madness movie tournament. Mike said it. The tournament is live. We have a website page just for it. It's mostlysuperheroes.com/madness. Yes, I have you guys printed copies right here. Yes, you can take those with you. I printed like 30, so you can take a lot. Pass them out at your school, Mike.
I'll be putting them in all my neighbors' mailboxes.
I was thinking about like put them on the cars of all my neighbors.
I know exactly which car you should put it on.
Just all over. All of them. All of them. All of them's going to get it. But now's the time for you to fill out your bracket. We're going to give you about a week or so, and we're going to start voting on these things on social media. So just to highlight a couple of the matchups, I've been doing this on every episode, just trying to give you a sense of some of them. We had Dodgeball versus Goodfellas, Forgetting Sarah Marshall versus Jurassic Park. We got Star Wars: A New Hope versus Terminator 2. That came from Anthony over at Jock and the Nerd podcast.
And when you made good on your word, you said it's in. And
it's
look
in.
what? It's in.
And look at that. It's in, just like that. It's gonna make you question, like, what movie do I like the most? It's a lot of fun. And we're doing weekly drawings for prizes, and there's going to be a grand prize for whoever gets closest. The reason I featured during fan mail is because we've already started getting a bunch of these.
Good.
People are emailing them in already. We've already got a handful. It's so interesting to see the choices people make already, and I'm excited to talk about maybe some matchups with you guys. I've been thinking about how we need to do this. It almost like needs to be its own little. Maybe we'll do it like at the end of the episode today. We'll just like pick one and talk about it.
Yeah, because we're gonna fill one out too.
Yes.
We're not gonna win the prizes because that would be very shady.
Right.
I would love to.
Yeah.
But like Andy was saying, like
have
we
a vote.
can't win.
But we have to fill it out.
Yeah, we got to fill it out, and it's up to really the listeners of what do you like more. Like I'm thinking about it. If I'm sitting on the couch and it comes on, I'm flipping through the channels.
Mm-hmm.
On like TBS, TNT, you have 1 versus 2.
You got to pick it.
Are you gonna go Dodgeball? Or are you gonna watch Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Like that's how I'm kind of thinking about this tournament.
It's
And I'll tell you, in filling out my bracket, there was some real Sophie's Choice. I mean, it was like really like I was like, oh my god, Thor, Ragnarok, or Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
I picked Thor.
I don't need
Spoiler.
It's not that hard of a thing. But like, yeah, it's not about what movie's gonna win awards. It's about what
Exactly.
movies you would rather watch.
Yes.
That's it.
And we're following the March Madness kind of schedule somewhat loosely. We'll give you guys some time to get these brackets in. I'll tell you right now, you're going to want to get this bracket in probably by the next episode. That's a full week. So if you're listening now, you have 1 full week. If we need to push it out and people ask about it, we'll let you know. But we're going to try to start voting at the end of next week. And once the voting starts, obviously we don't want to have brackets coming in because then there's that delay. So go to mostlysuperheroes.com/mostly madness. And there's links there to click it. You can download it. You can fill it out online. It's a PDF. And then you just email it in.
It's really user friendly too.
Yeah.
To print it off.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought, we designed it that way to make it like it would look nice. And you are taking these with you, just by the way. These are for you guys.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's get into the news.
News and rumors.
All right, so next up in news and rumors, we have one piece. It's really for you guys and for the wrestling fans out there. Comicbook.com, Connor Casey over there on March 8th. WWE network on Peacock. They announced what will and will not be available on launch day. Had you guys seen this before we started talking about it today and like looked at like the list? I was really hoping you guys had so we could give like some takes on it. But like you were saying, Mike, it seems like they've pretty much got everything. But there's a few things on here they listed that will not be available right away, starting with the complete pay-per-view history of WWE, WCW, and ECW will not be immediately available at launch. And the other piece is, going forward, all pay-per-view events and WWE original series will only be available to Peacock Premium members. What does that mean to you
Does
guys as
anyone know
wrestling watchers?
how much Peacock Premium like costs? I don't even.
We can look it up.
I want to say Peacock was like $5. Maybe the premium was like an upcharge to $10, something
Okay.
like that. It wasn't outrageous.
What does this mean to you guys? Like, how does this affect your watching of wrestling?
I like what it says. Will not be immediately available at launch.
Mhm.
All those events will gradually be added. Full transfer is expected to be completed by SummerSlam in August.
Okay, so there you go. So that's their
So
goal.
yeah.
So I am not going to lose sleep that I can't watch Bash at the Beach 1996 from WCW in May.
It's gonna screw up our like drinking game for Royal Rumbles.
So like when we hung
have
out,
a party like
yeah,
that, like
right.
that.
Could we have pulled up?
Until August.
Could we pull that up and like we watched 1996
It was,
Royal Rumble?
yeah,
or-
it was like 2013, close, but
Oh, we watched a 96 something.
We watched
That-
96 Survivor
oh
Series.
yes.
All
Good call.
right.
Good call. Yeah, I think we were gonna watch another Royal Rumble, but we never got to it. But
It looks like you do get Steve Austin's The Broken Skull sessions.
I'll listen to Steve Austin talk any day.
That's basically what we do. It's his podcast.
That's his
but,
podcast. Like a TV show?
Yeah, it's like basically what
Ooh.
you do.
That's like the dream.
Yeah,
Yeah, whoever's out there looking for new TV shows, we want to have something like this Steve Austin show happen in the future. Okay, so far it sounds like you guys are fine with this.
I'm,
for
yeah,
the
I'm
moment.
fine with this because I don't have Peacock, and now I can have Peacock.
Well, keep us posted though.
I don't watch a lot of like historical stuff unless it is like a thing like we did the one night where we just were like, let's just watch a random Royal Rumble. Like I'm usually recording what's going on live, watching the pay-per-views as they come, and not really digging deep into like the other shows and stuff that they have. But Total Bellas, I'm a big fan of Total Bellas for sure. So
But
Okay.
will that still be on the E network?
that's what I assume it would be. I don't know why not, but
All right, well, you guys keep us posted on this because this is obviously a hot item right now for wrestling fans, and I know there's going to be a time probably where you're going to come in here and be either upset or have an update on like, yeah, we had to buy it.
It's going to be clunky, I bet. And
Okay.
I hope that they are doing this not to rush and just throw everything in there, and they want to look at the kinks and stuff. Because if you look back at like the history of the WWE network, Vince McMahon had this idea like a decade before it even came out. Like he wanted a centralized place where you could find all of your wrestling content. And basically he thought of Netflix-ish before Netflix had Netflix.
Okay.
So he's always wanted to do this. So I have hope that they're not just going to say, all right, let's just throw it on there and see how it works. So at least they're doing this and gradually doing it. But that last line, full transfer will happen. I don't want to lose all that history and things like that on there.
Okay. All right, keep us posted, and we'll let you know what we learn. Thank you to Comic Book for the update on this story, and we'll, as we find out more, you'll know more. All right, let's get into what we're watching this week.
What you watching?
Got a fun what you watching, nice and stacked for you. Up first is the Giggler with another Guy Fieri title. You can tell that I'm rolling that R every time.
It's perfect.
Tell us about the Tournament of Champions that premiered last night, and what's it about? Did you like it? What was your feeling on this show?
Yes. So this is season 2 of Tournament of Champions. The first time around, basically I really appreciated it now because they have you can see a big bracket for the YouTube listeners. Obviously we're pretty high on brackets this time of year. So they basically actually have rankings of these chefs that were in there. They compete one-on-one, and they have this big thing called the randomizer, where it basically has it's almost like a Guys Grocery Games like thing on steroids, where they basically decides certain things that they have to use, a food that they have to cook using this sort of kitchen tool like a blender or sometimes it's a microwave. It's all random. Like Guy literally just goes up there and just look how badass he looks.
Biggest fan right here. Biggest fan.
Just look at him. Look at him.
I've
putting his
never
arms
met a
out.
fan like this of this guy, by the way. I just got to say, like, you are like the first person that's like really been all about him. Like, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. You're just unique in that way to me.
He's a legend. I mean, he's just opening his arms like he just wants to give me a hug, and I want to reciprocate.
He looks a little sweaty.
Someday.
Oh, he's 100% sweaty.
But yeah, the randomizer
sweaty.
just makes it like hard for what they're about to cook. So it decides that
And, like,
the
are these
ingredients they have to use.
These are like professional chefs.
Oh yeah, these are
Yes.
like the best chefs probably in like the famous ones. I'm assuming it's hard to say. Like, we
Hell's
don't-
Kitchen level.
Besides like, it's not like the Bobby
It's not
Flay,
Gordon.
like things like that. But it's like people that are in like Guy's circle of friends and like in that industry that are you can tell they're like the best of the best. And if your name's not like those big people that have their own like restaurants named after themselves.
Okay.
So
All right.
I have no way of knowing how actual good their food is. I really wish.
How was the show?
So right, they basically just compete against each other, advance in the bracket. They have really like some of the highest level like chefs as like the judges, and they a little bit different from the Guys Grocery Games where they know who they're judging the food for. This one's like a blind study, so they basically just eat the food, put a rating, and then they match them up whoever has the most points based on how they use the randomizer items, taste, and presentation, and they get a score, and whoever wins goes on. But it was kind of interesting. They actually had like this first episode yesterday was like a play-in games for like they basically are like having competitions to get into this tournament. So it's like another extra competitions, but it's so entertaining. Like
Okay.
makes me so hungry for sure. Except when they're cooking weird stuff that I don't like. But
What channel is this on? How do you watch this?
this on Food Network.
Food Network. Okay.
Do you watch this at all, Mike?
I have not seen this particular show, no.
If you're a Triple D fan, you should look into this because it's like you can just tell that they know what they're doing way more than any Guys Grocery Games episode.
I can tell you this. This is just how I am as a person that like I'll eventually watch this because you are such an advocate for it. It's just gonna take me a minute to get there. I think it'll take me like it's gonna be like one of those things where like one day I truly have nothing to watch.
You just got to be flipping through.
Yeah, I think
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe I'll just catch it one day, but I don't flip channels that often. I have
Yeah.
one of those little store-bought antennas. That's the only time I'm flipping channels is like to watch the local news. Like that's usually the only reason I'm watching like cable. So like I feel like I'd have to get on Hulu.
Streaming.
Hulu, I think.
Yeah.
We have Hulu. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. Guys Grocery Games. It's basically this is Guys Grocery Games, but on steroids without like the supermarket that they're in.
Okay.
They like have all
Okay.
the nicest ingredients at their disposal that they can use.
It's like Chopped.
just
What's your favorite?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about this show?
they go pretty in depth with like a lot of people's backstories. Like there's a guy. This is a guy that I want to get on our podcast someday.
Okay.
Darnell Ferguson. He owns a restaurant that's called like the Superhero Kitchen. So
Oh, wow.
He would go right in with this.
Well, Darnell, just so you know, I'm going to be reaching out on Instagram.
Going to just make sure that I have that name right as well. I know his name is right, but his restaurant.
Okay. All right. All right.
Um,
So it's the contestants. So we'll keep you posted on Tournament of Champions. And Andy, maybe we'll get this guy with a superhero restaurant on the pod.
Yeah, he would be perfect.
Okay.
Maybe a Logan's Heroes.
Yeah, it's been a while
There
since
we
we've
go.
done a Logan's Heroes. We need to get some more on the calendar. So that sounds pretty fun. Let's go to our next title here. Giggler, also, you watched a Kygo live stream concert.
Yes, this is something different, not a show.
Is this not
obviously, but
not it?
This is it.
This is it.
No, there's something. I just meant like something different to do with our time now.
Oh yes, I've loved the virtual concerts.
Yeah,
Carrie and I
it's-
have done a handful of them. We've seen Silverstein, and I think we did Story of the Year one night. And when it's done right, like you're having a badass time.
Yeah.
Like you're like this is cool. It's not the same as being at a concert, but you blasted the sky. How was this one? This was a couple nights ago.
This was amazing. This is Thursday night and live streamed. Yeah, he had to pay for it like $12, but he's one of my favorite artists. If you haven't listened to his music, it's amazing. Just perfect, like throw on while you're working,
Mm-hmm.
like chill type, electronic type music. And I've been a huge fan of his. Seen him live a couple times. Obviously not in a capacity like this, where I'd like to be on top of the Alps, but yes.
So this isn't the one you saw.
No, this is
This is the one you saw,
yeah.
but he wasn't like sitting on the
Oh,
ice.
he was.
He was on
straight
top
up
of the
was
Alps?
on top of
What?
on top of the mountains, literally, that picture is taken from it. Yeah, that's exactly it. So
Oh
he's
my
up there,
gosh.
and at some point in the middle of it, so he's doing the DJ thing, and all of a sudden there you see a helicopter in the background that's literally dangling this clear glass type piano from it, and that it drops it off on top of the mountain for him to go play.
And he like shows him like come in and all.
And
that
I was like, whoa, this is wild. No, that was like while he was DJing. So it's just flying around in the background. I was like, wait, they're not going to put him up in that helicopter, right?
No
And,
way.
that was, but it was like a beautiful scenery in Norway. That's where he's from. Very, very cool to watch. Like
Visually
had a
appealing.
great-
Sounded great.
Yeah, it sounded great, looked great. It
How,
was
how long was it?
It was an hour, like hour and 5 minutes, something like that. So
Can people see this now, or was it like a one time? Probably.
It's on YouTube, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
If you want to look it up, maybe you can find it. It's Kygo live from the Sunmore Alps.
Yeah,
what
I
it's
have a
called.
feeling it's going to get taken down because if you charge people for it, then it's probably not. A lot of artists don't like their stuff on YouTube like that. It clearly wasn't him posting it, but I was like, I want to listen to this again.
Mike, have you done any virtual concerts this year?
I mean, I just go down YouTube rabbit holes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, go watch
Just
old
watch old
concerts.
stuff. I
I'm
get
an
that.
old soul. I watch a lot of classic rock stuff. So
Hey, you've been doing that since we were in
yeah,
school.
it's once you start, you can't stop.
All right. Well, thanks, Andy. Good what you watching today. Move on to PC Mike. You're going to give us an update on what you talked about last week, The Wire.
It's getting a little better.
Did you finish season 3?
No.
What do you mean you can't binge that?
Oh,
bitch?
man.
I watched like 3 more episodes, but it's getting more, and you're getting more invested into the characters, and you can finally start to see some splits and some things happening. And I did read that season 4 might be the best of the seasons, so I have like that on the horizon.
Okay.
So I'm getting there.
How many episodes have you watched since we talked last?
I think 3 or 4,
Okay, so
but
you're
they're-
making your way through.
but they're solid hour episodes. So it's like,
Takes a while.
yeah, and I'm watching it solo, so that's like me sneaking off downstairs. Like,
Rachel's like,
Get-
where's Mike been all day?
I'm on a podcast. I gotta try to finish The Wire.
Yeah. My other job.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I think
that's
I think they're 12 episodes in a season. So when
Okay.
I finish, I'm gonna stop talking about The Wire season 3. But when
Well-
I am done, I will give an update.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you tell us when you've finished season 4?
Yeah, season 4?
Well, I mean, unless you want to rate season 1 through 3, I guess, when you come back.
I would have to do 3 because I watched season 1 and 2 like before the
It's been a long
pandemic.
time.
Yeah,
All right, come back
I
when
mean
you
this
finish season 3.
this show aired in like the early 2000s. So
All right. Well, I'm anxious to find out how you feel about it because so far I'm not going to watch this show.
no, I would not right now.
Okay.
It's a lot of time.
I've only seen one episode, and it was the series finale.
Oh, Andy. Why'd you do that?
I don't know. My roommate was watching it one day.
Oh.
and I
You
was
got to
like,
get
"What
up
is-
and leave the room.
What
Yeah.
is this? I'm not going to say anything about it. I also don't remember anything
I
about
just
it.
meant for you.
Oh, I mean, I don't remember anything about it, so
Okay.
I don't think it would really.
Well, and if
spoil
you
anything.
sometimes if you see something like that and there's no context, you don't remember.
There-
Yeah.
I mean, there was stuff popping off. That's all I remember. So, what,
All right.
what do you?
Better than episode probably 3 of this
Well,
season.
yeah.
where it's
What
like,
season finale? It isn't going to have that. So,
All right. Well,
series
keep us
finale
keep us
anyways.
I'll
posted.
keep you posted.
All right. You got another one here. This is Video Game World.
Yeah, a couple months ago I bought that Batman Arkham package, and I actually beat Arkham Asylum, and I started Arkham City I think last week, and I've played about an hour or so, not a lot, but so far, if you have never played Arkham City or you've never played the Arkham games, please just go out and buy them for $20 or whatever they are, because this is cool. It really is cool. If you're a Batman fan, it is awesome. This is open world. So Arkham Asylum kind of led you down this path. This is more open world, and you can do more side missions and things like that. Graphics are awesome, insane. I still can't get over graphics.
What kind of console are you on?
I'm on an Xbox One.
Okay.
And this game came out probably 4 or 5 years ago. But compared to Arkham Asylum, which I think was like 2011, this was a couple years after. It's like, wow, are we really doing this? Just, it's a great story. The voice actors are incredible. Mark Hamill is the Joker again.
Yep.
Just awesome. If you've never played them, it's like watching a movie, but you're controlling the characters.
What's your favorite part of the Arkham City game?
I mean, it's just so different from Arkham Asylum, and there wasn't a drop off of how good it was.
Uh-huh.
I just love the open world feel now, because
And it's just like you're running into missions as you go.
yeah,
type
and you
thing.
can use your Batarang and go different places. And I want to do a side mission now. I can go help this person, or I can go do this. I can go do that. There's just a lot more freedom.
yeah,
Man.
you can watch like crimes be committed and just walk by them and just be like, I'm not really feeling like saving this little old lady right now. I need to go kill the Joker or something.
Yeah, it's like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's exactly like that.
But you're Batman.
yeah.
I still don't have a console, but every time you guys talk about these games, and then my mind goes down the Spider-Man rabbit hole. And,
See,
Yeah.
Spider-Man. It's like Spider-Man. It's like the new Spider-Man.
but
games,
that
'cause
means
it's
I'd have to
open
get a
world.
PlayStation
Well, maybe you need to get that for your listeners so we could all compare this series
to have
versus
a
Spider-Man.
What do you have?
I'm about to have nothing, so I don't know what I'm.
Because your
gonna do.
roommate's taking it
Yeah.
when they move out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
You're just gonna buy
I'm
one.
in the market for the new Xbox, so. if
Well,
anybody
there you
wants
go.
to
Most
send
of
us one
Superheroes
those,
is looking for a sponsor. We need one Xbox and we need one PlayStation.
Microsoft.
Microsoft and Sony.
Sony.
Are you out there?
Hmm.
Like, we'll talk about the games all the time.
We will. I mean, I would do reviews of everything I played,
Oh yeah, that's so.
and then
so
like do
fun.
like the live streaming on Twitch. Like I haven't been doing the show as much on Twitch, but you get into the gaming world. That's like what Twitch is all about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, and then the last one. I love this. The alma mater,
Yeah.
North County High School in St. Francis County, Bonne Terre, Missouri. This is where me and Mike went to high school.
Okay.
You had some news on the basketball team.
On Friday night, me and a couple buddies, we listened to it via the radio.
Oh my gosh!
Had to
Get
down-
out of here!
Had to
throwback.
download an app. KFMO 1240. No free shout out.
Hell yeah!
But yeah, we listened to it. North County, me and Logan both played basketball there. They won their first district title since 1995. They play this Tuesday against Sykeston at Sykeston. And then if they win that, they play Friday night to go to the Final Four.
This is. I mean, I'm gonna give it up for them. Hey, go Raiders!
Yeah.
Go Raiders! Yeah, I even pulled the headline from the Daily Journal. That's the local newspaper, and yeah, this is exciting news. I mean, did they win? Did they play the Christmas tournament this year? That's the
Yeah, they did play the Christmas tournament.
how'd they do?
Actually, North County did not win the Christmas tournament this year. Their best player was out. They lost to another school down home, Central, by 4.
Ooh,
And
close
that's
one.
North County's only loss this year. They are 23-1.
Holy cow!
I believe if you look at different rankings, they are number 1 in the state.
Oh my gosh! Hey, well, hey, go Raiders! You got our full support here, and they just won district, so now it's
They won districts. Now they're in sectionals. They play Tuesday. So when this airs, you'll either be like, oh, they're playing tomorrow, or you still won your district
Hey,
championship.
and that's your update on the local high school basketball scene. Keeping it well rounded, paying homage to where we went to high school. Absolutely, I love the new jerseys too. I say new since I was in high school, but
Let's not date ourselves. But yes, they are. For some, they've reached in those pocketbooks, and they did find enough money to get new jerseys from when me and Logan were there.
did you see? I put a picture of the school. Even
You did, and no one even goes in that entrance.
No,
no one
that's
goes
awesome.
in that.
That's the B entrance.
Yeah.
You never even went in that door. All right, cool. All right, that's,
I hate to date us, but that logo's even changed since we've been there. We didn't have that in C.
no,
like that.
and that's like a really nice logo. I pulled that offline, and I was like, we never had anything like this.
Yeah.
All right, that's what you watching today. Before we move into the MCU for the rest of the episode, I did talk about in my Monday episode today, Ted Lasso. So I'm not going to talk about it now because I already did, but you guys should listen to that. I don't know if you guys listen to the Monday show ever. It's only like 20 minutes.
I do.
And I talked about Ted Lasso on Apple Plus. That's a teaser. So go listen to the episode before the one you're listening to right now. There's a full review, spoiler free, and a rating. Let's go check it out.
That's on my list. Very high.
It wasn't, and then all of a sudden I was like, this looks pretty cool. And now I'll just give a very short answer. Yes, go watch it.
Okay. I have to find a way to stream it to my TV. I don't have Apple TV, and I have Apple TV, but it's like on my phone, and I can't stream it to my TV somehow.
I'll help you.
Logan's very good at
Yes,
that
I was
stuff.
gonna say.
I'll help you. And also I'll tell you this, Apple makes it easy for you to hit buy.
That too.
All right, let's get into the MCU, wrap up what you watching with our next movie in the MCU rewatch, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. But before we do that, we promise you guys we do a very quick roundtable. We're going to be super, super quick. I have a whole episode on this. It's mini episode number 2, and this is a great time to plug our brand new MCU page, mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. I'm very proud of it, I got to say. It's not just like I went and put all our episodes in there that had stuff. I have cut out specifically in order all of the MCU stuff we have reviewed and rated, and it's on one page. So go check it out. It's IG episode, mini episode number 2, Avengers Age of Ultron. Let's do a roundtable real quick. Did you guys want to? You watched it.
Yeah, I just watched it yesterday.
And then Mike, we'll see. You don't have to if you want. It depends on if you've watched it recently.
I'm gonna shoot everyone straight.
You didn't.
I didn't watch it.
It's okay because it was you weren't supposed to really. Andy and I kind of took this one on very, very quickly. Major spoiler alert for the movie though, because I'm just gonna very quickly say the Avengers get together again. Age of Ultron, where Tony is scared, Thor is curious, Cap loves war. You get the introduction to Wanda and Pietro, and the introduction of Vision to the MCU.
I feel like I've watched it with watching WandaVision a little bit.
Maybe like sometime in between early episodes. It's a must see. If you haven't seen WandaVision yet, you need to watch this movie. It's. I even had a friend text me about this and was like, "Hey, is there a movie about like Vision's OG story?" I was like, "Yeah, maybe one of the best movies."
Exactly.
I gave it a 3.9, and when I rewatched this last week, it's a 3.9 for me still. It's like top 5 favorite movies of all time.
That's higher, I believe, than your Endgame score.
Yeah, I like Avengers Age of Ultron more than Endgame, but not more than Infinity War.
Okay.
Not more than Infinity War.
There you
I
go.
learned a lot during the tournament about myself.
Yeah.
I really did.
I had to take a long look in the mirror after filling out that bracket.
I put down the pen like 5 times and just said, I got to come back in an hour. I can't. Carrie's still filling hers out. It's been days.
Oh, I haven't even started. I'm scared. I'll figure it out.
All right, Andy, you saw it this week. You did double duty for us this week. Appreciate it. Did you watch Guardians?
I listened to like a recap podcast online.
Oh, nice.
Called from The Ringer called oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. So have you heard of these? Where they do
Rewatchables.
Rewatchables.
Yeah,
The
it's,
Rewatchables. I have heard of this.
Yeah.
I have not listened to them though.
Binge mode. That's what it is.
Binge mode is the name of the podcast. How was the episode on Age of Ultron?
So
They do a
shout
good
out
job.
to them. They did it. Yeah, they do a great job of. I've heard of them. It just their episodes are like long, and it just seems like why don't I just watch the whole movie? It's like a 2-hour podcast about.
It's like we've
a movie
learned. You
that's
got to
2
get it
hours.
down to like that 15, 20 minute mark.
But they do go really deep on it because a lot of things that you wouldn't think about. But I really enjoyed rewatching this movie. I'll just start with my rating if
Go
that's
ahead.
cool.
Do your thing,
Just
man.
throw it out there.
Yeah, we're
It's gonna
keeping this
be
one quick. We're gonna go right into Guardians after this.
Gave it a 3.5. Just below Endgame and Infinity War for myself rating wise, but it definitely my favorite part of it was just why I wanted to watch it because of how much it connects to WandaVision and how I was kind of feeling based off after watching that. So just like a couple points that in the movie that I really wanted to touch on, but
Go ahead.
Hawkeye has his pep talk with Wanda, like in the middle of the battle, and he just says, "The city is flying. We're fighting an army of robots, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. Just step out the door, and you're an Avenger." And then she just basically just murks everybody and
just comes out and kills like 10 of these robots at once.
Yeah, obviously. Now, like, it's just kind of crazy to watch that, knowing now what we all know about her and everything.
Oh my gosh.
So
we're gonna talk about it today. Cannot wait.
And then it's just insane how they set up everything. Like we talk about this every week, but like at the towards the very end, Tony Stark says to Captain America, "I think I'll take a page out of Barton's book, build Pepper a farm, and live the simple life." I'm like, he literally did that.
That's what he did. He was always trying to get to that life.
Yeah, it's just impressive. Like the little things like that I've seen this movie 10 times, and I just you catch things like that, even that are connected to things prior and then things in the future. It's just beautiful.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's not even just that you catch like cool little Easter eggs. Like that's like you can watch Toy Story 100 times and you'll always see like, oh, there's a little Easter egg. You actually see like how well done the movies are. You're like, oh my god, like that. Like they're talking about this 10 movies in advance of like that payoff, like we were talking about with Mike years down the road.
And they do like every character in this movie such good justice, like with how it's going to like adjusting to things that happened in them prior and then kind of increasing their trajectory for movies down the road, like through the whole movie. Just so impressive that they fit this many people like on screen so easily, I feel like.
Yeah, I'll say one thing that I know I didn't mention in my original review, so you can go back and get the full breakdown of this movie, but one thing I didn't mention there was I think I texted you guys about this, that love story that they talk about with Natasha, Black Widow, and Bruce Banner. Like it's super like sad now that you see the paths of each character and how they go forward. It's like they never really got to be in love, really.
The most they got was like a smooch.
Yeah, they've kissed once, basically, even though she was going to take a shower with him.
Yeah, that was there. I noticed that too.
Cool. Thanks for the rating. Do you want to say anything at all, PC Mike? It sounds like obviously one of me and Andy's favorite. I mean, it really is. I mean, I gave it a 3.9. It's a true score. It's almost a perfect movie.
I'm going to let you two talk about this, but I do want to highlight the mostlysuperheroes.com MCU page.
Please.
It is clean. It is awesome. It is easy to navigate. And man, it's a walk down memory lane. And whatever.
I'm like, where's Memory Road?
Memory Road is like on the other side of memory lane.
It's across the river.
But
Right.
like as I've been looking through this, Logan has like awesome screenshots, and Carrie does too, of what it looks like. But now, like before we film and before we record, I'm gonna look and see what I wore like the previous week, so
Yeah,
I don't
'cause our
have the
pictures-
same
our pic-
clothes on.
Oh, there we go.
You're going to have a good idea exactly like, oh, look. Oh, he must use the same photo. No, you were wearing the same
Yeah.
outfit.
Yeah, we wear hats a lot because it's the end of the day when we do this, and we're not gonna make our hair look all spiffy. But no,
Well-
it is clean. It is awesome, and I just clicked on it, and it would be awesome if you, hey, ooh, okay, what did they say about Thor? You don't have to. We want you to, but you don't have to listen to the whole episode.
Right.
You can just go find that little bit about Thor, throw it up on your TV when you have friends over. And if you want to, maybe you're doing the Mostly Madness tournament, you're like, man, I wonder what they said about Thor. Click on it. Have fun.
And it's in order.
It is.
And
in
not,
order.
and not only that, but if you will notice, I'm starting to make sure people know exactly when it is. So it tells you the phase, and it also tells you what MCU title it is. So in order, WandaVision is number 24. Did you guys know that? MCU title 20. And you sent me the list from here on out for the next like 3 years.
The only
It's
reason,
like up to like 60 titles.
the
it's
only
gonna be.
reason I didn't know that is because it says 23 plus films, and then I did a little math, and WandaVision's plus the TV show. So
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. And this episode we'll have the season finale, and we're just going to keep this thing updated. And with that, perfect transition. Let's get into our MCU rewatch of this week. This flick does take place actually right before Avengers: Age of Ultron, but it's in a galaxy for the first time in the MCU, far, far, far away. And no, that's not a Star Wars reference. I don't even know if I can legally say that. But I will tell you this: if there was ever a MCU Star Wars crossover, I'd be into it. And now that it's all under Disney, who knows? One day. But no, this is the sleeper, folks. This is the movie that should have never ever worked. It's the movie where Marvel said, I bet we could pull our D-line characters out of the basement and make a hit movie out of it. And they did. We are talking about the 2014 hit Guardians of the Galaxy. Real quick, before we do our gut check, as we always have, and see when everybody's seen it, when's the last time we talked about it, this movie stars Chris Pratt as Star-Lord or Peter Quill, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Dave Bautista as Drax, the Destroyer, our Fast and Family daddy Vin Diesel as Groot, and Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon. Are you kidding me? This cast is unbelievable. James Gunn knocks it out of the park, and I rewatching this 3 days ago. Oh my gosh, what a treat. I had so much fun. It's getting higher and higher as I watch it. It's like a sweet wine, like just getting better over the years. And I loved it. Can't wait to talk about the story real quick with you guys. Let's start with you, PC Mike. When's the last time you've seen this movie, and what are your feelings toward this movie?
it's within the last year. I didn't rewatch it recently, but it is one of the Marvel movies that I've seen the most because I do think it's so refreshing and it's so fun. And the characters I absolutely love. I love the secondary characters in this too. I don't even want to call them secondary characters like Drax and Rocket and Groot. Awesome, top to bottom, and it works. Like you don't think it's gonna work. You said it perfect. Marvel was like, oh, let's try this. Throw it against the wall. Well, guess what? It made $772 million.
$772 million. It only cost $232. It made the bank. The people went and saw this movie. Well said, Giggler. When did you see this last? And where's this one sitting for you? How does this one make you feel when you revisit it?
Oh yeah, this is I watched this about a month ago on TV. This one's like always on TV, which is fine.
Yeah,
I love when all these movies are on because it's like it's either Guys Grocery Games or an MCU movie that's on at any given time. So that's what
That's a win-win for you.
My wife loves all that.
Hey, can we split screen this real quick?
From both.
That's why we have two TVs. But yeah, this is definitely probably in the top, near the top 10. I can't tell you right now if it's in the top 10, but it's close. It's
All right.
it's close up there for sure. And it's just so good. Like you said, they just pulled these characters that hardly any of us even probably knew. I guarantee 95% of people that are MCU fans now didn't know what the Guardians were before this movie.
Yeah, that's me.
And
It might have been higher. Might be higher than
Yeah, no, I
95.
agree.
Oh, I mean,
you got to be like a big comic book fan for that,
yes.
for sure. And like, I guess there's been other versions of the Guardians in the past that they've kind of teased that from in future movies. So that's kind of cool, like little tribute to them. But I love it. Like, there's times where I forget that Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper are the voices of those two characters.
oh yeah,
And that's just another reason why it just makes it so great. Like, Drax is maybe one of the best characters in all of the MCU because he's hilarious.
Hard agree.
yeah. His timing is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's impeccable. He's you find yourself laughing at every scene he's in.
And as a wrestling fan, of course, I'm going to gravitate to him versus anyone else.
Yeah, like I said, should have never worked. Imagine the pitch meeting for this movie. Where you're like, Bradley Cooper's going to voice this raccoon. Like,
Vin Diesel is a tree.
and
Right.
literally just saying, I am Groot, the whole movie. And apparently, I mean, we've all seen the footage at this point. It's been years of him saying, I am Groot, based on what his line would be. So they would tell him, like, oh, your line is, we got to get out of here. And he'd be like, I am Groot. And it's just Vin Diesel just saying it over and over and over. I love that.
Wasn't Vin Diesel also like the Iron Giant?
Oh, really? You
don't
might be
know.
slipping in a fun fact here.
Vin Diesel's a DJ now. You should look up his song on Spotify. It's pretty
Is it pretty good?
great. I like it.
Oh, man, Vin Diesel's doing it all, huh?
He really is.
And he's got F9 coming around the corner, which you know we're going to be talking about.
That's fine.
Yeah, of course.
We'll have to have Mikey guess
Yeah, we'll have Mikey
yes,
back on. That's
for
right.
sure.
All right, we got
Yeah. So Vin Diesel is the Iron Giant in the Iron Giant.
Are you
the
serious?
1999 movie. Yeah, I knew he was something like that.
and guess what? And this is not a spoiler. In an episode of Ted Lasso, that someone's watching the Iron Giant on the TV. I just saw that yesterday.
Whoa.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
Thank you, Vin.
When I think of voice actors, I think of Mark Hamill,
Oh my gosh,
Kevin Conroy, and then of course Vin Diesel.
he's making bank. That's for sure. All right, spoiler alert right now. Guardians of the Galaxy. We're gonna break down the story very quickly. Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Soft spoiler alert for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 a little bit, Infinity War as well as Endgame, because we're just gonna do some connections. So if you're trying to really move your way through the MCU, just be advised. I'll do my best to give you a warning. Did our gut check. So, all right, what happens in this one? Let's talk about it. Let's give it a quick rating so it can live on our new MCU library. We can get up there. So in this movie, we meet Peter Quill, played by Chris Pratt. This is a regular 1988 boy from, that's right, Missouri. Give it up. We have made it into the MCU, folks. I like it. And it's a young boy. He is actually at a hospital. His mother dies. And right after this happens, he's sucked up into space by this guy named Yondu, presumably kidnapped. And then 26 years later, we have a full-grown Peter Quill. And he's on Morag looking for the Power Stone. I was like, which stone is it? They call it the orb in the movie. It's the purple little orb. And the guy that's looking for this, there's a lot of people looking for the Space Stone. This is great. I mean, this is going to be timed right around Age of Ultron. We're starting to hear more about these Infinity Stones. And we're seeing that, like, across the galaxy, people are starting to look for these things. Who? All right, well, the big bad of this movie is Ronan. He's a blue guy. He's part of the Kree people, and he's working for Thanos. Just say it now. Thanos is in this movie.
Yep.
So, like, this big bad guy that you've been getting teased out in all these other films, like Thor and the Avengers. I mean, he's in this movie, not like in credit scene. He's in the middle of the film, and Ronan is helping Thanos get this stone. And Thanos' two daughters, Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana. She's like one of the leads. And then Karen Gillan plays Nebula. These are the people that are helping out Ronan. They're Thanos' adopted daughters.
End credit scene was Thanos of Ultron. Don't forget that.
It was.
That was I'll do it myself.
And he said, I'll do it myself.
Oh man.
Which I always thought was wild because I was like, so he was just like watching that play out?
Yeah.
Or did he like plant some seed for like Ultron to exist? Like, did he pull on a string of the Mind Stone to like make that? Because like he knew all about it. It is the end credit scene. He grabs the gauntlet and he's like, I'll do it myself. And I was like, what? Are you just watching?
Damn. I
right?
never really thought
Because
about
he's not
that.
even in that movie.
I just get so excited that that scene, and then I don't really think about the actual repercussions of it until down the line.
I've always thought about that, though. Fans, let us know if you know, because I've always wondered that. I'm like, did he play a role in Age of Ultron? Did he do something there? So this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, since it does take place in space, it's one of the first MCU movies, the first MCU movie that does this, like besides Thor, which like really only goes to like 2 places. They go to Asgard and then the Frost place. This place is going all over the place. First location is Xandar. This is like a really rich city, and this is where all the Guardians of the Galaxy will meet. So you meet Groot and Rocket on this planet. They're like thieves / bounty hunters. There's a bounty out on Peter's head because Peter didn't deliver this stone to Yondu. Tries to sell it to a broker. The guy won't take it. And then Gamora is there to get the stone as well. This is where they all get kidnapped and they get taken to a space prison called the Clean. It's Klyn. Never ever have said that right, probably. The Klyn. We'll call it the Klyn. And this is the meet the team scene that you got in the promo whenever they're doing like the piece by piece. Like, this is Star-Lord. He's a Earth. He's blah, blah, blah. Giggler. This is something I caught in my rewatch. And this is really messed up because I bought like every MCU movie right when it came out. There's a scene where there's a plot hole with Gamora's backstory. Do you remember this? Where I'm going with this?
I don't think so.
And it says, whenever they're describing all the characters, they say, this is Gamora, adopted daughter of Thanos. She's from this planet, sole survivor of this planet.
She's a soul survivor.
Yeah, I wish they would have played that song.
I mean, it does have a bomb-ass soundtrack for this movie, but...
Oh, one of the best.
Why do you think I did a music show?
Did you do the music show
I did.
because of this?
It was definitely like I think it was like one of the first episodes
Yeah,
I
I
did.
think it was
And I
too.
did volume 2.
That's an easy one.
Oh, it was, yeah, I didn't have to do a lot of work on those because every song's a hit. But here's the plot hole. Spoiler alert here for Avengers Infinity War. But Gamora, her planet is not dead. Remember? Thanos kills half, and then they prosper. And it was this big plot hole. All right, I've always noticed this line. I've always been like, oh, man, that sucks. It's not in the movie anymore.
They took it out?
It's literally gone. And I bought it on iTunes right when it came out, so it was there. But I have a digital copy.
They changed your digital copy?
I am telling you that I believe the digital copy of My Guardians of the Galaxy, they snipped that part out. I backed it up 10 times and watched it. And I was like, I know this movie.
I'm going to watch it again, too.
You have to at least watch that
this.
scene. Yes.
Okay.
So it's the scene where they're the space people. John C. Reilly's in this movie.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
clutch.
on the wiki, kind of like going through it. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
amazing.
He's in there. He's part of the Xandarian fleet. You also have Glenn Close playing Nova Prime.
They have a lot of like random actors doing small little bit pieces as well.
There are so many. Feel free to read some if you see any cool ones.
Seth Green as Howard the Duck.
Oh, yeah. That's the in-credit scene.
Rob Zombie as Ravager Navigator.
Wow, one of the Ravengers. Okay.
Stan Lee is in here.
Yeah, forget what. You know what? I forget what cameo he does in this one. I just watched it too.
As a
Got you.
Exandrian ladies man.
Oh, okay. At like probably like on Nowhere or something. Whenever they're like in the gambling place.
Trying
Okay,
to, trying to
well-
see if anyone else is big in here.
No, for sure.
but,
Let us know if you see any other big names. I just really want to point out the plot hole. And listeners, if you know what I'm talking about, like this was discussed on forums and stuff. It was big online. Like right after Infinity War came out, there's this big thing of like Gamora's backstory, and Thanos, did the same thing he did everywhere. He killed half the people. He took Gamora with her. But like in this movie, it was like, well, didn't they say she's the sole survivor? It was a big thing. So I'm curious to see if anybody else has experienced this. Disney, if you're listening, you better explain yourself.
Yeah, please.
Next, go ahead, Mike.
I'm just still shook if they got into your iTunes and like snipped it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a digital copy, so I guess they could, but like, that'd be messed up. All right.
Yeah, we gotta do some dives on this.
Moving deeper, getting towards about the middle here. The Guardians take the Power Stone to the Collector. So that's played by Benicio del Toro. The last time we saw this character, he's the guy on Nowhere, which, by the way, Nowhere is the head of a celestial being where people are living and gambling and like mining the bone marrow and juices from the giant's head. Do you remember this? And I'm also always thinking like, well, who was that celestial being? And is it like a comic book guy we should be aware of? Like, is it like related to Galactus at all? Because he's the only guy I know that'd be that big.
we're about to find out a lot more about Celestials.
Yeah, and like, oh yes, we are with Eternals, and we've learned a lot with Ego and Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh man!
All right, so the last time we saw the Collector was in Thor: The Dark World. This is when Thor's friends brought the Reality Stone to him. So this is kind of cool. In this scene where the Guardians bring him the Power Stone, 2 Infinity Stones were in this guy's place for about 10 minutes. He had the Reality Stone from Thor: The Dark World, then he had this one. But then his assistant like touches it, she blows up, they leave. Long story short, Drax calls Ronan to like fight him on this nowhere place. So Ronan gets the Power Stone. Peter saves Gamora, and then the Guardians team up with the Ravengers to take on Ronan, which will take place back on Nova, or Xandar, where the Nova fleet live. We get an epic battle scene, comes down to Ronan basically losing this Power Stone. Peter gets a hold of it, but like humans aren't really supposed to be able to hold this thing. And I'm telling you guys, I get chills on this part. When he is holding that Infinity Stone, and then all the Guardians like hold hands, the music is pumping, and then they like pull it together to where they're not like hurting anymore. I was like, getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it.
You throw on that jacket.
I should have wore it for this episode.
You really
I
should
should just put it on, I guess. No, it's right here. If you're looking on YouTube,
I got something. Put it on. I'll kill a little time.
All right, go ahead. Please go ahead.
I hate it when people call goosebumps goose pimples.
Oh, that's not what they're called.
I know it's not, but some people call them. I got goose pimples. I'm like, I hate that. Oh, there it is.
How's this look?
Oh,
Sharp.
yes.
Hey, I'm not Peter Quill. It's me, Logan. Actually, I was kind of cold.
It is a little
It's
chilly.
a little chilly down here. I'm sorry, guys.
You're welcome for the suggestion.
Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes it's cold.
Life.
Still trying to. Yeah, that's right. Katy Perry said
Hey,
it first.
and also we all have t-shirts on. We usually have like
A sweater.
sweater or
Yeah,
something.
we're like adjusting to this new weather that we're having
Yeah.
this week in Missouri.
And this is exactly what St. Louis people do. It's 60 degrees one time, and you're like, shorts. You're like, I'm wearing shorts now.
Yep.
It's not even cold outside.
It's not even cold anymore. All right, so this is definitely some big foreshadowing to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, him holding this Infinity Stone. It is the foreshadowing of his lineage, which I'll keep that as spoiler-free as I can, but that you learn all about that in the next movie. And the Guardians win. They destroy Ronan with the Infinity Stone, and the only thing that sucks out of this is that Big Groot sacrifices himself to save the team, but it's okay because Baby Groot.
And then we get Teen Groot.
Yeah, playing the game. That's an Infinity War.
Are you giving me back talk?
Baby Groot's one of the best things that happened in my life. So
Oh,
it's
so
like,
great. That opening sequence of Guardians 2, which, I mean, we're going to be talking about it so soon.
Yes.
So great.
I found the Stan Lee cameo. Looked it up.
What was it again? He said it was like a ladies' man thing. But
Yeah. Rocket Raccoon views him flirting with a lady. I think it was on Xandar like earlier in the movie.
I thought they were playing craps. Like craps on that nowhere thing. But I really don't remember.
That might be the second one.
I know. And like
Yeah,
and then the one in Age of Ultron, he's at a party too. He's at the Avengers party. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, am I mixing all these up?
And just to tease it out, we probably are going to rank these Stan Lee cameos.
You threw that out
probably this
last week.
summer.
I literally just found that in an article of 60 of his cameos. So there's our reference point right there.
60?
Hey, we'll just put it on this. we could
Next year it's already done.
we could seed those ourselves. We could just go down the line.
Yeah. No, that's fun. I like that idea.
All right, so the Guardians get their shit back. This is where I get my favorite line in the whole movie. It's not even from one of the Guardians. It's John C. Reilly, and he's talking to them, and he's like, "All right, guys, you got your shit back. Your records are clean. Just don't break any laws." And they're like asking if which laws they can break, and Drax is like, "What if I want to slit someone's throat?"
That is good.
And John C. Reilly goes, "Well, that's murder. That's one of the worst crimes." So yeah, I'd have to arrest you every time. And then these guys take off. So yeah, we get the end credit scene. Credits roll. Baby Groot is alive. He's dancing in the pot, aggravating Drax. And then, like Mike pointed out, end credit scene 2 didn't really do anything for the story, but it's just a weird little shot of Howard the Duck with the Collector. They're having like a cocktail. Man, oh man, what a film! So much fun. We'll get some ratings here and stuff. Let's go ahead and do a round table. Andy, any other top moments that I missed that you can think of? Give us your overall thoughts on the film. Feel free to throw in your rating if you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say soundtrack, one of the best parts about this.
Yes.
Like music during that time period is just great. Like oldies, so many good oldies in that. Like I think I might on my way home, I'm gonna throw down that music show episode.
You
for
should.
sure.
You get to hear. I mean, you
Thanks
get to hear
to-
the bangers.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one that got creme de la podcast on your tail there.
It probably was.
Dang it. Creme de la creator. Sorry.
I'm not kidding. Like we've had a lot of downloads, but that one had thousands of downloads.
I believe it.
Like
a lot of people are
thousands.
probably looking for that soundtrack, maybe seeing that and being like, "Oh, what's this?"
Yeah, if you're listening right now, just go to Spotify, type in Guardians of the Galaxy. You're gonna find most of Superheroes in the Music Show.
Oh yeah, that's a good call. But yeah, I just like I said earlier, I just love this movie. It's so funny. The action is great. It's like kind of like a small like change of pace of what we've seen prior. Like this is one of the bigger like intros into like the space world that we kind of see. Like obviously the whole MCU prior to this is not like it's believable. Like you can't believe that there's really a Hulk or Iron Man and Thor and all that stuff.
Speak for yourself. I'm like, this is the news.
Okay.
I know what you mean, though. It's like the new introduction to everything else.
Yeah, it just like opens up like so many windows, and like think where we are now. Like there's literally going to be even more of this with the Eternals, and we're going into like multiverses. Like what this whole MCU like spans. Like MCU stands for like Marvel Cinematic Universe, and like that's like you think of that as like universes and like a grouping of movies and shows, but like it's literally like a freaking universe that is.
They should call it it should be the MCM, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
I wonder if they'll do a play on that someday. That's pretty crazy.
Trademark.
Write it down. This is almost Superheroes copyright 2021. we gotta buy that website right now.
Yeah. That's like Man Crush Monday. That's not a good acronym.
These listeners are like, man, these guys are just always trying to get rich. Like, we're just like, we gotta scam these guys now. Our favorite stuff. All right, how about a rating?
Rating. That's a good call. I'm gonna go with a 3.3.
Nice. That's a solid.
That's
score.
I think that's like a go-to rating for like a movie that's in that like top middle tier of these 23 plus movies that are in the MCU.
Here's what I like the 4-point scale. Have you guys been? I like it. Like I feel like it just comes. What you don't?
I go back and forth.
What do you think the alternative is? Is it like
I think it's a 10-point scale because I equivalent.
Man, you're really saying this on air right now.
I
too.
know, but I equivalent it.
We're gonna think about this now.
I equivalent to grades in my mind. Like that's just how it does. Like a 9.5 is an A.
Yeah, but what about 4?
But then I'd have to do the math.
But
I know what an A is in my mind.
Did you not go to college? I
I
know you did. I get that. You got the
Your
hat
mom
on.
goes to college.
You got the hat on too.
I know that is funny because like 3.3, that's a B plus. That doesn't sound like it's great.
Here's the thing.
But-
I don't think I can change it now. We've done so
I
many.
know. I don't think. You
Well,
can.
that's what the other day. So I'm gonna start going back and compiling my ratings because I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to.
It's on my list to like document all 3 of ours.
have
for
a discrepancy
everything.
where I say, especially now that we're doing this, I don't want to rate 2 movies like against each other.
I
And
know,
then
but
pick
I
the
also
different one.
like the more raw rating and not like thinking, what did I rate that? It should be like more in the moment. I feel
That's
like.
true. You're right.
And if there was only one place that I could go to find old ratings of the
Yes.
MCU,
Mostly superheroes.com/MCU.
Your view count's gonna go up by about 35 tonight when I figure out all my ratings.
I'm gonna see a big spike in the website traffic. Like that's got to be Andy.
3 a.m. Who's on at 3 a.m.? Like you're just going through it.
All right, PC Mike. I know you haven't seen it in a while, but I can tell you liked it. I think you'd be comfortable giving us a rating. And any thoughts you got?
For sure. I did find one tidbit, which
Please.
this interests me. In 2017, Guardians of the Galaxy was featured as one of the 100 greatest films of all time by Empire Magazine's poll of 100 greatest movies. At the time, it was the highest MCU on the list.
Wow.
Film on the list.
I'll
So
give
that's
it
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah. What was that list? What was the list?
Empire Magazine's 100 greatest movies.
Okay, awesome.
As we take a break and go through, I'll kind of look at the list and kind of give you some notable things,
Yeah.
if I can find it. I love the movie. I think it's one of my favorite MCU movies because I like the comedy. I think it kind of breaks it up. I think it's different than everything else. I'm going to go a little higher than Andy. I'm going to go 3.4.
Oh my gosh. Wow. How's that make you feel, Andy?
Fine. Raw. Just like you said it.
I mean, it pumps me up when he rates them high
Because-
because I'm just like, this guy. I feel like I was always talking to him about MCU stuff growing up.
Because I used to, like last week, we were all 3.3. And in my mind, when Andy said that, I was like, I can't do that again.
you like
3.35.
Yeah.
you like had trouble sleeping.
Yeah. I was like, did we really
That's
do
something
that?
we haven't thought about. Is if like if we could add a level of decimal to it. So if you wanted to do
Why
like a
not?
3.52, You could make it start doing like a
can get-
3-digit.
We can get crazy.
We'll think about it.
I think that's how Dave Portnoy does his pizza reviews, doesn't he?
He does a
Go
10
down to-
point
His
scale.
is
and
10.
Don't go back.
His is 10.
Well, Mars scale's better. So.
I like the 4.0. It's working for me. It's like almost. I like that it's more simplified because with a 10, I really got to think about it. It's like
Well,
know
I mean-
what, that 3 threshold. That's easy for me to kind of identify and be like, okay, it's definitely over a 3.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if I end up in the 2s, then I start working backwards and be like, shit, is this a 1?
Well, they do the stars.
They do stars. There's a 4-star for
4-star.
people. There's 5-star for people. So it's like stars.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not a number. We just need to come up with like the superhero or
Literally, I think the only issue that I've found is that we usually only talk about movies that we love. So like,
That's true
We
too.
haven't-
They should be high.
we're not gonna probably not talk about many movies where we're like gonna give it in the 1s and 2s.
I mean, Iron Man was a 2.7.
Well, some, yeah, some, but like we haven't got it down into that 1. Like, what's a 1?
Well, the goal is really not to though. We should want to watch some good stuff. But
Yeah.
either way, solid rating.
So the Empire Magazine 100 Greatest Movies of All Time from
Uh-huh.
2017. Do you want me to do like a quick top 5 of what they had?
Sure, go ahead.
The Godfather was number 1. The Empire Strikes Back was 2.
That's in our tournament.
Dark Knight was 3.
In our tournament.
Shawshank Redemption 4.
In our tournament.
Pulp Fiction 5.
Did that make it?
No.
Ooh, it could have.
Goodfellas 6.
That's in there.
Raiders of the Lost Ark 7.
That's in there. Man, we could have just gone from this list.
Jaws.
Okay, that's
Jaws, would be a good one.
Jaws is a good one.
A New Hope. And then this is kind of
That's in there.
This is kind of a big omission from us. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. So some Lord of the Rings movies.
I would have taken it. I would have swapped it out for one of our last minute entries. I watched Lord of the Rings recently. I was underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I
That-
thought. Go ahead.
I hate to do it. Back to the Future's 11. So Back to
The first
Future's-
one?
Yeah.
Well, 2's in the tournament because I picked my favorite.
I think Back's in there too.
Yeah, where's Borat in this
Yeah, I
top
think you're
100? That was my
Aliens,
my number 1 pick.
Fight Club's up here.
All right, let's
Jurassic Park.
let's-
This is a fun list.
it's a fun list, and I'm very proud of like our list because ours.
We
came
didn't
from,
even look at this.
We didn't look at anything. Ours all came from our heads, us talking about it, and from the fans. So
Terminator 2.
well done to you guys, listeners. Our bracket looks sick. It's at mostlysuperheroes.com/mostlymadness. Wrapping up Guardians of the Galaxy. Go ahead, Mike. One last
34
thing.
on this list. Guardians of the Galaxy.
I thought you said it was. This is a different. This is a.
No, this is the list. They were top 100.
Oh, they
but
were top 100.
but they are 34th on the list.
All right. Well, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't think
because
it'd be that high.
MCU stuff, it's like tougher to get onto these kinds
for
of
sure.
lists. All right. For me, let's go ahead and give it a rating. Well, first up, a couple other big connections. We already said this, but this is the Thanos story, first of all. So, if you're watching the other Avenger movies and you're getting to the point where you start hearing more about Thanos, again, he's in this movie. So much so that you'll see some characters that were in the Avengers movie from 2012. Remember when Loki would chat with Thanos' minions up on that planet? They're in this. Ronan does the same thing. He's talking to those people. And then here's my overall thoughts. So I love it. I said this earlier. This movie should have never worked. We talked about this whenever Imran from Jock and Nerd came on here, but this many actors with this big a budget, it should have been a disaster, but it's not. It does just fine. And I think they do it by tucking in these little moments with the characters like Peter Quill going back for that cassette player in the prison.
Yep.
Drax gambling, getting drunk, and having fun. There's a moment where Groot is literally just off on his own, and he gives a flower to a little girl. That stuff's just tucked all throughout this movie to where you're holy cow, I feel for these characters. I'm getting to know them. It's action packed. It's unapologetically the movie it is. Totally heartfelt. I'm gonna give it a rating. It's a 3.6. Yeah, I'm just nerding out right now. I really, really love it. Wearing the jacket right now.
I'd give that jacket a 4.0.
Oh man, this is solid. This thing. It's
cool.
I've worn it. I've worn the Peter Quill outfit too many times. But the jacket. I mean, you got to.
Oh, yeah, Halloween.
That's
Forgot about
right.
that.
And Comic-Con, Wizard World in St. Louis, of course.
I was just wearing a Spider-Man mask the whole time, so I didn't get a good look at it.
Yeah. God, the Halloween special. Yeah, if you want to see us dressed up in these outfits, go check it out. I was actually a zombie version of Star-Lord, if you guys remember. Had the,
Oh, yeah.
the makeup on. All right, so that's Guardians of the Galaxy. Like Mike was saying, we got the brand new MCU rewatch page happening. The next one on our list is the last movie of Phase 2. It is Ant-Man, starring Paul Rudd. And then next up will be Captain America Civil War, the first one of Phase 3, already in Phase 3. and Doctor Strange. And I think it's going to be great visiting this stuff along with just seeing WandaVision, which we're about to talk about, and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Loki is right after Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's going to be ties, I'm sure, from Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So lots to connect, lots to talk about. We're using the hashtag MCU Rewatch, and it's all happening at mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are talking about Phase 4 of the MCU, WandaVision, the season finale. We'll be right back. Hello, podcast listener. This is your host of Mostly Superheroes, Logan. We hope you're enjoying the show. Did you know that you or your business can advertise right here, right now, in this advertising spot for Mostly Superheroes? That's right. We are currently open and negotiating terms with potential partners. Please go check us out at mostlysuperheroes.com and reach out on our contact page. Enjoy the rest of the show, and we'll see you next time.
The meat.
Welcome back from the break. Having a blast here, Logan, on Mostly Superheroes with PC Mike and the Giggler. Hope you enjoyed our little breakdown of Guardians of the Galaxy, along with all of our What You Watching. Send us in with what you're watching. Didn't get a lot of fan stuff in there today, but it's all up to you guys. You can join the Mostly Superheroes Facebook group. That's Mostly Superheroes Squad. Free to get in. It is exclusive and private. And any of our social media. We're very active on Instagram. You comment on something, go follow us at Mostly Superheroes, and we'll feature you on the show. All right. The meat of the episode, Phase 4. I can't believe it's already come and gone. 9 episodes of the premiere of the first MCU of the year for 2021. It has ended, and we have just watched the season finale, and we're going to talk about the story. We're going to talk about how we felt. We're going to dive in deep. We're going to explore every avenue, and then we're going to make, get ready for the next title, which we'll talk about here at the end. But before we get into it, like we always do, let's do a gut check right now. And you guys be totally honest. I rewatched this today, so I'll kick us off. I'll tell you the truth. Whenever I watched this the first time and it ended, part of me felt like a little let down. And I didn't know why. I was like, it had everything. It had action. It had fights. It had story. It wrapped it up. And then when I rewatched it, I realized, and I talked about our buddy Adam. He's been on the show before. We talked about this. It was that I think that, and I told you guys even, the predictions just got like a little wild. And it was fun. It was cool to see stuff. But I was just like, there's no way that all this is being opened up in the very first title of Phase 4. I put it to Adam this way. You didn't meet Thanos in Iron Man 1. So, like, to me, there couldn't be the big stuff. I rewatched this thing. This was a solid show, solid episode. A lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to break it open with you guys. Let's go ahead and go to the Giggler first. How'd you feel when those credits rolled and you got through the episode? Where were you sitting?
I completely agree with what you said, except for I was not disappointed the first time I watched it because I think the directors did a good job of like leading up to this in the few days. Like there was a lot of news about, hey, your fan theories, like maybe chill on those. Like you might be disappointed. It was like open, like once I was like, okay, and I've said this on the past few episodes, like a part of me was disappointed in the last two because certain fan theories and stuff didn't come through, but like that's on us. Like
right.
It's really awesome that as a community, like we can talk about like think of how many places you can go to get theories like this: YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, anything. Like you can just type in Mephisto and just there's 5,000 tweets per minute about what's going on, and like
even just scrolling through your Instagram feed.
Yeah.
People are like making memes of like this is gonna happen, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. So I absolutely loved it. It was
nice.
It was perfect. I'm glad that they kind of warned us about that because I was just like I was already had some reservations. Like there's so much that they have to recap in 50 minutes, and if they do that, then they're gonna take away from like some of the actual story of what needs to be resolved in this current show, worrying about these characters. Like that's what the idea of the show is, to get more like backstory and future story for certain characters. Like it's not about the whole universe as a whole. Like obviously what's happening here is going to have a huge effects on the next movies, but I absolutely loved it.
Very nice. PC Mike, where were you sitting at the end of the title of the episode, by the way, is the series finale. We need to unpack this in itself, But where were you sitting when it ended?
I'm a little different than both of you. I was disappointed.
Okay.
I'm not a huge MCU guy. I mean, I'm enjoying it as we go through all this stuff. And yes, the fan theories were getting a little wild and getting a little out there, but I was just like, we built all the way up to this. I really thought the series started off a little low and then it peaked and then it kind of ended on kind of a sputter. Like not even, I don't think they put, their best episodes were 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
Like by far in my mind. Just some questions and things like that. Like Petro is just an actor in town. Like
we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna
little things like that.
We'll go through it. We'll break it up.
And yeah, I don't. We'll talk a lot about it. But I was just a little let down. I didn't really. I had to even text you guys like the mid-credit scene and the ending scene. Like it was predictable. Like we knew. Like once Andy said what he said about it, just we knew that this was going to set up something else with Doctor Strange, and there was nothing.
It did. I agree with that. That it was a really big ending, and like there was a lot of things happening, but it did feel very predictable.
Yeah,
it felt like, of course, this is what would happen. Like that happened, and then that happened, and that happened. I think you're actually onto something there.
And I was like, I wanted a big reveal or something crazy, just a little bit. Like,
and Paul Bettany,
he
duped us.
Yeah, he did.
He played us like a fiddle. He really toyed with the fans of the MCU.
Well, I think Elizabeth Olsen kind of did too, but I think her question was asked a little bit differently.
I saw people tweeting that were just like literally saying like Luke Skywalker question mark.
Yeah. But supposedly, in her defense, I guess the question was asked to her in the way of, is there a Luke Skywalker level cameo in this show? And she said yes.
That was wrong.
Yeah, she wasn't claiming.
Unless the cameo was Evan Peters.
Well, and you know what? That is a subjective question that is all about your opinion. And maybe to her, like she was like, absolutely.
Evan Peters of American Horror Story is Luke Skywalker to me.
My fake dead brother is cameoing.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's
Ralph
talk about some specifics. Yes, Ralph Boner. We're gonna talk about all of it. We're gonna go right down the line, as always. So yeah, first of all, just unpacking this. The series finale, it was 50 minutes total. The events of WandaVision come to a head, and the destinies of all who took part are determined. I mean, this is no guessing game. It is called the series finale. I feel like there is no season 2.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't know what.
Like you said, like you said, what would it be? She takes over another town.
Yeah, I could see it not being like WandaVision, but I could see it being maybe something else. They called this the series finale, but there might be something else, like a show with them, because they can't have the same premise. She can't take over another town.
And here's the real truth. TV, they are doing TV differently than it's ever been done before. It's never been entangled with movies like this. So the truth is, there's not another season. You're absolutely right. There could be another show it could be Wanda and Doctor Strange. And like, that's a show, you know?
And I don't think they could make another one like this with the flashbacks and stuff, and it just wouldn't play.
Right.
I don't think it'd play.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's okay. I always kind of thought this. I thought this would be like a 1-chapter thing. I'm okay with it, especially the way it ended. I'm certainly okay with it. Going down the line, previously on WandaVision, Pietro takes Monica Rambeau. Agatha tells Wanda about the ruins magic. This is in the flashback of last week. White Vision being born, and then lastly, Agatha saying to Wanda again, "This is chaos magic, Wanda," and that makes you the Scarlet Witch. Like, definitely reminding everyone. To me, I just don't need all that, so I was already kind of like, all right, I know, I get it. She's the Scarlet Witch.
And I was already mad when I first clicked on Disney Plus, and I saw I think on Disney Plus it said 47 or 49 minutes, and I was like, are they doing this to me again?
just short, just a little bit.
Like, really?
They're just testing people. All right, story opens up on our YouTube channel. We have all the images from this episode on a single slide, and we go from top to bottom. And we open up right where we left off. Wanda versus Agatha in the street. Agatha has the boys. It's a witch fight. Power blast, power blast. Agatha sucks Wanda's magic. She is the connection, I think, to the commercial with the yogurt and the shark and the kid getting energy sucked. She's the person sucking.
How long have we been in this fight? 4 episodes?
Oh, that's fun. 3.
Okay.
But still, a long time.
A long time.
And it's here we go. It's witches blasting each other. She smashes Agatha with a car, and then boom. Oh, well. And then we see a Wizard of Oz reference. Her boots were under the car.
That was cool.
And then here we go. White Vision shows up and tries to smash her skull.
That was rough.
Oh, Elizabeth Olsen's a great actor. Like, her face, I was like, ooh, that does look like it hurts. New Vision comes in, and it's Vision versus Vision, Wanda versus Agatha. Monica goes over to Monica Rambeau. She is with Pietro. They're inside of his house, his messy room, which I'm telling you, this looks just like his room from the Fox movies.
Oh, I didn't think.
I'm telling you that, like, his basement where he lives with his mom in the Fox movies, and like Magneto and Professor X come and get him. I haven't seen this movie in years. I remember this, and they go down there, and it's like almost the same character,
like kind of scatterbrained.
Scatterbrained, running all over the place, playing like pinball and stuff. Watching. He says something about Steven Seagal in the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if he says anything in the other movies, but I was like, is this a tie? Again, I'm still connecting too many dots, probably. Goes back to Vision versus Vision, and White Vision in the sky, like, straight up tries to take the Mind Stone from his head, like Thanos
Not
did.
again.
Like, not again.
White Vision kind of just looks like a big sperm.
A sperm. Oh, poor guy.
That or Silver
Does it?
Surfer. I
Like,
thought he kind of looked
am
like
I
a Silver
Surfer.
It's just weird vibes, but
He made some weird faces in this too. He's like,
I think
it's like, oh. He's like, am I Vision?
You got to watch that on YouTube.
Yeah, you're getting a real YouTube shot of my face here. All right, so that fight's happening. Back to Sword. All of this felt a little fast too. Like, all right, so Wu is there. Hayward's got him in handcuffs, and Wayward is basically just admitting to being a bad guy right now. He's like, well, no one knows about this. They won't find out. And no one has the footage of WandaVision, so nobody knows what happens. He does say that.
Classic bad guy.
yeah.
Yes, classic
Super
bad
villain.
guy. It was a little, like, I was like, what? Wu calls help from Quantico. He calls some guy named Cliff. I don't know if it matters or not, but that's who he calls for help. All right, so Wanda and Agatha are now in downtown Westview. The Scarlet Witch is not born, Agatha says. She's forged, and her power exceeds the Sorcerer Supreme. I don't know if you knew this, PC Mike. The Sorcerer Supreme is, in fact, Doctor Strange. So she just flat out says, you're more powerful than Doctor Strange. I bet Benedict Cumberbatch is like, what
It's
the?
like doing his like little ring thing, like looking through, like, what in the world?
I have all sorts of things about him not showing up. I mean, it's really weird to me that he didn't show up during any of this based on what he's done in other movies.
You
I mean,
can't just like even fake it, like show like the back of his head, like watching.
from like
at the end.
a mirror or something. Like you could exactly, like, not even one connection.
You couldn't do. What was the movie where you just saw Thanos' weird chin?
Yeah, a lot of the end credit scenes were just like a shadow.
Yeah, like Thanos, like looking like.
Well,
Like, you couldn't do that.
And like, remember when Thor shows up in Thor Ragnarok, and like immediately Doctor Strange like is like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I'm like, this lady hexed 8 miles.
and also like that like Nick Fury is aware of what's going on due to what you see in that one of the credit scenes. So like
Nothing.
it's not like the Avengers team was just unaware of what was happening and the consequences. Like they literally, the leader of them is
Doesn't
tracking
Doctor
it.
Strange live in New York?
Yes.
This is in New Jersey. He
Yes.
couldn't just be like, hey, I need to take the ferry over to see what's popping.
And he flat out says, like, I'm here to protect your reality. There's a whole town of people that are like being tortured for days.
And like the most powerful being in the world.
Doesn't know
Maybe.
about it, but maybe we'll find out.
Yep.
Maybe it's you know what it is?
Is
Maybe it's the Captain Marvel cop out where it was like, hey, I was busy.
Or I was there the whole time, like behind the scenes.
Yeah, you had it under control.
If it would have got out of control, I would have came in there.
Yeah, nobody died.
Yeah, no one died. All right. Okay. So then Agatha unbrainwashes the town, and they all like confront Wanda, and this is where she lets them all go. Finally, it's like, all right, get out of here. Goes back to Pietro and Monica, and this is where Pietro he calls Agatha Mrs. He's like, the Mrs. is out doing her thing. This is where I lay low, and then this is where she finds the picture that says Ralph Boner. And like, are we supposed to believe that he's just a guy that lived in that house?
Did Agatha give him super speed and everything?
Yeah, I think she gave him super speed and possessed him.
Maybe she gave him super speed. I don't know.
But like, is that Is this what happened?
That's the question. Like, was he already enhanced and she controlled him, or
did he have speed?
Yeah, could be. That's something that I personally.
But he just happened to live next door, or
that's one of my gripes about the show, and one of the very few about the finale is how that played out.
Yes,
but I'll give them credit that something they could explain down the road. But I don't want that to be like a explanation for anything that the MCU does that we don't like as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Kind of like a cheap grab at a laugh too.
It felt a little
like really?
dirty. Like it was like, wait a minute, don't dangle that in front of us if it's not true.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why everyone loved the show is like, oh, look what it's all gonna do. Like, if that really was what they're doing, just effing with us, then like some of these fan theories and stuff that we're all coming up with, like maybe that's not fully on us. Like,
remember when we were talking about Herb cutting through the wall, and we were like, maybe it's Wolverine.
Yeah, I said that.
Like we were just looking at everything through that lens. So, but that specific thing was such a big thing. It was like, here's the entering of mutants into the MCU.
Because I feel like this show could do it. I don't think Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be that type of show. I think it's going to be like an action show where stuff's happening, and it's going to be like CIA kind of things and stuff like that. This, I was like, man, we could really dig and we can look and like.
I feel like Kevin Feige, if he's ever listening to this, he's going, just wait, guys. I feel like there is a just wait component here of just like we are still just so early days that maybe some of this will come back around.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when you think about this was supposed to come out before or after.
Yes, that's
Falcon
true.
And Winter
too.
Soldier. So I wasn't expecting really any of this to set up that at all. That's kind of going to be its own thing, but I think that could still have some surprising setups for future events. Like supposedly, I watched kind of a breakdown of the trailer, and one of the locations. I'm not going to say much because this could be potential spoilers and stuff, but one of the locations that looks like that they're referencing in the trailers is highly connected to mutants and X-Men. So it could be just them calling a Fietro on us again, just
right. Or like maybe they do it a total surprise and they do introduce it in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Whatever, I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, I know. And here's the thing, I really do trust them, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's keep going. Let's see how we feel at the end of this. The boys, Wanda and Vision's boys, they're watching from their room, and they like run downtown to help. So like the whole family like comes back down together. Yep, like I said, she lets everybody go, and then back to Vision versus Vision. New Vision starts coming apart, and so do the boys because the reality's coming down. So after she lets everyone go, she like stops, and then the family's like there to fight together. It's pretty cool, and I did start to feel like, oh man, these guys really do. They are a family. And the boys show up. They're here to help. And then Agatha starts sucking up Wanda's magic again. White Vision comes back. Sword shows up. And this is the big climax. Everyone's there. Like, everyone's downtown. And this is where we get Vision and Vision in the library. And the big fight scene. Our boy Adam, he did say that he had some major Age of Ultron vibes when Vision and Ultron faced off in where the dome was.
Oh, yeah.
He said he felt like a lot of that same fight style and filming style. And I was like, I absolutely did. Them shooting at each other and like Vision flying down underneath.
Good call.
And Vision says, are you sure you're the real Vision or I'm the real Vision? And then that's when he says, I request elaboration. So they're going to talk about this, which I understood. Like that's what two Visions would do. The boys handle the military. Wanda is now up in the sky for the final battle against Agatha. And then Monica protects the young boys from Hayward, who stepped out of the car to shoot these kids. Was like, I'm going to shoot these two kids right in the face.
Seriously.
And she like just takes in the bullets. And they just like I'm saying photon, like it's their name, but they just go into her and fall down.
One of the boys stops one of the bullets too, I think.
He does.
Yeah,
the witch one, Wiccan,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
And then Hayward gets hit by a truck by Darcy. So Darcy has a big hero moment. And where was she the whole time?
Hanging out.
Driving.
Didn't they say something like, where is she? And they're like, oh, kind of doing her own thing.
She hates debriefs or something
Yeah.
like that. Like
she's really
Just hanging out.
she just left.
They couldn't afford her for the finale, really.
Wasn't even she was laying it that one shot.
Yeah.
She had one. Yeah, she was probably in that truck just housing ice cream. That's
Eating
what I'd
ice
be
cream.
doing.
That's what I'd be doing.
I love.
Hell yeah. I don't want anything to do with this battle. I'm not a.
Yeah.
She would never like always. She fought with Thor and Thor: The Dark World though. We didn't find out about Ian, the intern from Thor: The Dark World.
No, we tried. We tried. Oh man, we should do a best of like worst WandaVision takes that we've had in the past 2 months.
All?
Oh, all of them? Yeah,
Yeah.
every single thing that we like theorized. I mean, I was like, we're crazy.
We really
But there are 9 episodes. You thought that there was gonna be a lot of payoffs,
And we weren't as bad as some people.
not at all. We kept it in check. I thought.
Like, we didn't even, like, go on Reddit or the message boards and be like, you guys see? Like, did you guys pause that 14th
I wasn't-
frame
I wasn't
of the
reading-
credits?
I wasn't reading hardly, like nothing, virtually nothing, and I was still making some like now what seems like outlandish claims, but whatever. Okay, so this is where Vision and Vision talk about the theory of the ship Theseus, and it's basically about, you know, if you take a ship apart and you put it back together and there's rot involved, like is it still the ship or not? And they come to the conclusion that like neither of them are the real Vision, or they both are. Like either way, like they're like this is like, and this guy is conflicting with his motive, which is kill Vision. So this is the big discussion that gets him like thinking it through. New Vision helps old OG Vision. This is OG Vision's body. We have to make like very clear. This white Vision is the OG Vision from all the movies. That's his body.
It's weird to think about,
Yeah,
But
because that's kind of
especially
And
because
that's
they call
why
them a sperm.
and that's why Agatha said, "Ooh, your boyfriend and your husband show up at the same party. What are you gonna do?" And so he brings OG Vision's memories back. Looks like he doesn't need the Mind Stone anymore. That being said, we know that the reality comes down and it takes away like New Vision and the boys. But I guess we assume that like this guy, he just flies out of this thing and leaves after he finds
Right.
out.
That's what's crazy. Like what?
And
where's
where'd he
gonna
go?
Come back. It could be.
Well, and he says, "Oh, I didn't even say this." He goes, "I am Vision," and then he flies off.
Maybe he just didn't want to stay around with a single mom with 2 kids and wanted a new start.
Yeah, he's like, "Whoa, off the hook."
I'm getting out of here.
Those aren't my kids.
Those are mine.
I think that it was something like that, or he was confused and he just needed to go be somewhere and like figure it out, or that like maybe him getting his memory back, he remembered something that he needed to go take care of.
You're already starting.
I know,
Future hot
but
takes,
you watch
top 10.
though.
Hey, in a decade and a half. They'll be like, hey,
10
look,
years.
look, Vision was flying around the sun this whole time.
Just waving. All right, so here we go. Wanda takes Agatha back to like old time where those old witches tried to kill her. It's like a reality that she's created again, and then all the witches in it turn on Wanda. This is where she gets her Scarlet Witch crown, and it's a big fight in the sky. All right, here we go. Agatha tries to make a deal. She's like, "Give me your power. You can live here in Westview. It'll all be fine." Wanda says, "All right, here, take it." And she starts blasting her with her powers. She's hitting her sometimes. Sometimes she's hitting the wall. All the while, Agatha's getting like real juiced up, and Wanda is like visibly getting old and dying. It looks like she's going to die, but then Agatha tries to cast her spell. Doesn't work. Huh. Wanda put the hieroglyphs on the reality, and she, just in case you didn't understand, Wanda says out loud, "The witch that creates the hieroglyphs on the ruins has the power." A little, again, I don't need that. So I feel like this is part of them opening up to a wider audience. You're getting a little extra dialogue. And then she wins. She blasts her down. She says, "You're going to live here. I'm going to trap you in this town." And she makes her into Agnes, the character she was playing all along.
Yeah, like that's her prison now, right? She just
That's
has
her-
to live. in
Yeah.
that.
She's in her prison.
I like the hieroglyph thing. I mean, it was a good callback.
I was
to
gonna
the
say, how'd
prior-
you feel
to
about
the prior episode?
The big
where-
witch on
where-
witch fight.
where it happened to, obviously that happened to Wanda in her basement of Agnes. So
Yes, and
That's pretty
we're
cool.
also learning here that Wanda is a fast learner.
yes,
Another payoff we never got. Where in the heck's her husband? Ralph.
Well, Ralph Boner.
That's her husband?
He
That's
calls
what
her.
it- yeah.
He calls her the missus, and they live in the same house.
maybe he's a not real husband. Like
It looked like she was keeping him upstairs,
yeah,
but
I
like
th-
maybe
It
not.
looks, but he looks like her son to
Well-
me. I don't know.
well,
I don't
here-
know. Hey, it's 2021.
Well,
whatever.
hey, well, here's this. Here's this. She says she's going to keep Agatha a prisoner in Westview. First of all, she is now the Scarlet Witch. Not only does she have the crown, she has the outfit. I'll give it up because
Yeah, that looked good.
it looked really good. And she, Agatha tells her, you don't know what you've awakened. You're going to need me. So that's foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah. She'll be back.
She will. And she said, I know where to find you, which is true. Okay. Wanda, Vision, the boys are together. And Vision says, I think we should go home. And she goes, I'm going to set all this right. And Vision says, just not for us, right? And I mean, I'm already getting sad right now. This really did get to me. This was really tough. And they go back home. The whole family goes there. They put the boys to bed. They say goodbye to the kids and tell them that they're proud of them. And they say, goodnight, Dad. And Vision literally says, like, goodbye, kids, as he like leaves the room. And Vision and Wanda have a one-on-one. And Vision says, what am I? She says, you are the piece of the Mind Stone that lives in me. You're a body of wires and blood and bone that I created. You're my sadness, my hope, and mostly you're my love. They kissed. I cried.
Okay.
Vision says, I've been a voice with no body, Jarvis, a body with no human, Vision, and now a memory made real. Who knows what might be next? We've said goodbye before. And she says, maybe we'll say hello again.
And she said to the kids, thank you for choosing me to be your mother.
Oh, I had that written down. I'm glad you said that.
That was like, I was like, what does that actually mean?
What did that mean? What did that mean?
They
You chose us to be.
Talk about hot takes. Like, could that be she took them from another universe, maybe? I don't know.
It says, you chose me to be your mother.
I don't know what that means.
So the reality comes in. The boys presumably go. And Vision goes slowly. And he says, so long, darling. And it's over. Wanda's back where she started, but she's no longer crying. She went through this all to like kind of deal with her grief, and she heads back downtown. She gets dirty looks from the town. They're like, huh. I'm like, dirty looks? This lady kept you hostage for days. I mean, at least days.
Nothing they can do about it.
And Monica says, given the chance and the power, she's like, I would have brought my mom back, so I kind of get it.
Yeah.
And Wanda says, I don't know this power, but I promise I will learn it. And I'm sorry for all the heartache I caused. And then she flies off into the sunset. And she's gone. Credits roll. It's over. So we think. Before we get into the mid-credit scene, the end-credit scene, how are you feeling, PC Mike, at the end of this when she flew off?
That's it. A little bit.
It's kind of how I felt a little bit.
But I did like the scene with her and Vision and like the world's collapsing.
Oh man, yeah.
That was a good ending.
Yes.
I will say that. But I was just like, man, are we really like? I was like still waiting for it, and I know I got my hopes up, which they kind of put us in check throughout the week. But just like, is this really how it's gonna go? But then I was like, oh, well, there's gonna be some credit scenes. Like I kind of was like, oh, okay. Well.
Yes, and we've counted on this. You know you're gonna get him in the end episode. Giggler,
I loved it. I was so.
You were good.
I mean,
you were like, this is good. This is on the way.
I agree. Like, I wish there maybe would have been more of like a, I guess, cliffhanger kind of ending, not related to the credit scenes. But I mean, it's still. I think the show still holds up on its own 9 episodes. Not comparing it to what's gonna happen in the future. If you kind of just think of what this does compared to, or like in company with the prior movies, like it made watching Age of Ultron so much better.
It's so true.
Like when Vision popped out of that whatever machine he was being made in, and like does that cool pose. I was
yeah,
damn,
yeah.
like
when Thor brings him to life.
He's had his redemption. I won't say anything bad about Vision anymore.
Yeah, and it was cool seeing Vision on Vision.
Mike
Until
agrees.
this old Vision's like floating around doing something stupid.
Yeah, we're not done. I think Vision's very much back in the MCU.
Yeah, I agree.
I bet Paul Bettany's like, heck yeah.
Yeah, of course he is. He's having a great time.
Couldn't
Yeah,
wait
he's
to
like-
work with himself.
All right, cash that check.
All right, I will say I agree with you guys. I like on both sides of it. Really, I felt a little bit of a longing for something more. I almost just felt like no reckoning at all. Like no one even like threatening to go get her. Like no one from S.W.O.R.D. was even like, "We'll find you." Like somebody should have said that.
It's kind of Thanos-y, like him just going and farming.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
just
the end. Like,
out in the middle. Oh well, let's
Oh,
talk.
yeah.
Let's talk about him. So first mid-credit scene is Monica Rambeau. She gets pulled inside. First of all, Wu is like cleaning up the town, so he's doing that. And then Monica gets pulled in by an agent. It is absolutely a Skrull. This is one of the shapeshifters. We meet these folks originally in the Captain Marvel storyline, and then I've said this before on this show, but we got to tie this stuff together. This is the end credit scene from Spider-Man: Far From Home, where we learn a lot more about Skrulls and a lot about Nick Fury and a lot about. She says, where am I meeting this leader Skrull? Monica asks, and the Skrull just goes. She's talking about that space station.
Yeah, that's a callback to earlier where she's supposed to be grounded or whatever because of that. If you go missing or whatever, it's like protocol for Sword, which they're like, no, not anymore.
No, you're coming up.
That's very cool because especially in that, if you rewatch that credit scene, you can see. I'm wondering if what was that? That was Far From Home, right? Where Nick Fury comes out of that like pod or whatever in space, and you can see the Skrulls behind.
He's like laying there, like at a beach, but then it's just a screen.
But there's on the screen there's a picture of a hex, and that made me wonder,
what
is that?
They're watching the whole time.
Just a hex, or is it like the hex?
Oh my gosh!
And that's where like that scene literally is like him being like, all right, the hex is over. Gonna go get Monica Rambeau, and she's gonna be a space badass, just like Captain Marvel now.
Do you think? Yeah, well, guess what? This is perfect because as we rewatch these movies, we'll catch it if it's true.
Oh yeah,
because I haven't seen that in a long time.
Like Monica's gonna be a huge part of Captain Marvel too.
Oh
so
yes,
that's like a given.
All right, so that's the mid-credit scene. Pretty excited about Skrulls, Secret Wars, all this storyline. And the end credit scene, here we go. Panning in from afar, we enter the mountains. I don't really know where. It was hard to kind of tell. I don't know if you guys had any guesses.
It was pretty.
It was pretty. I just don't know. It was just too hard. I thought it was the United States because it looked kind of like the Rockies. It was pine trees.
It sure as hell wasn't New Jersey.
It wasn't New Jersey. Wanda's out there. She's in a cabin. She's alone. She's drinking coffee. She's in sweatpants. She's just hanging. I was like, I get this.
Looks nice.
Looks nice. Looks wonderful. Honestly, I was like, I would love
Looks
to go there.
wonderful.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Wow, that's good. Okay, that was nice. Punny guy. All right, walks inside. The camera keeps going past Wanda. She gets more coffee into the bedroom. The Scarlet Witch from within Wanda, astroplaning, reading the Book of the Dam, or what was the book called? Do you guys remember?
The Darkhold?
The Darkhold, which you texted us about the Darkhold.
Yeah, it was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, like a pretty big part of it.
Yes.
Around like I think it was like the Ghost Rider.
It was the
season.
Ghost Rider storyline.
So they're going to have to like retcon that whole thing. Like, 'cause you think
we'll
that
see.
in the future they'll have some sort of Ghost Rider probably, right?
I would hope so.
I would think. It's not going to be Nicolas Cage or that guy.
Oh my gosh. Now with all this witch stuff and Darkhold stuff, oh my gosh.
So, I don't know how they're going to change that up. I mean, who knows? They've had to do similar things in the past, and like,
what do you think? What are you saying? You're saying it was destroyed or something?
I can't remember what actually happened with it.
Oh, I can't either.
But I think
I'd have to go back and watch that
It also
episode.
looks completely different too.
Yeah. Okay.
But, I mean, whatever. It's magic. It could have looked.
So she's reading it in her astro form, studying, what's happening, and then she hears her boys yelling for help in her head. So a couple things. Go ahead, PC Mike. You were talking about the boys.
The Darkhold has a huge Wikipedia page. So if you really wanted to go down some rabbit holes, it was introduced all the way back in 1972.
That's cool.
That is cool. So there's a lot of history there, it looks like. But yeah, it's just, we knew that there was probably going to be a Doctor Strange tie-in.
But it doesn't connect directly to Doctor
No,
Strange, but
but
what this tells you is she's definitely more powerful than him because whenever he astroplanes, he passes out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good call. I didn't even.
Oh yeah, whenever
Make
he's
that
out,
connection.
he has to like lay down. Same with Bruce Banner in Avengers Endgame during the time heist. The Ancient One knocks him out of his body, and Bruce Banner lays down, or the Hulk lays down.
And she's just chilling, drinking coffee,
Oh yeah,
hanging out.
and she's doing both. She's awake in both worlds.
I need to be a witch. I could get so much done in life.
Oh yeah,
You'd watch double the shows.
that's why I watch. That's why I watch Bewitched. Yeah, you freeze time and just watch all your stuff.
But yeah, I mean, I just wanted more. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's
know what you
going
mean.
to be a good setup, but it's not the setup I wanted.
It did feel strange. It felt
It's like, I don't know, going up like a step when I wanted to do a couple crow hops up. I don't know.
I disagree exactly. I think you said it leading up to the season finale. It was like they got a lot to pack in here. And here's the thing, they did, but like it felt a little packed.
Like you
I
said,
feel that.
like when you were going through it, and you're like, we got to go.
Yep.
We had the same fight scene in the street for 3 episodes.
Yes. All right, so Doctor Strange 2. This is going to be the next time we see this character, I think. We could see her beforehand, absolutely. But this movie, Multiverse of Madness, doesn't come out till March 22nd, 2022.
Jeez.
It's a year.
Really?
I didn't realize it was that far
I
away.
didn't either, and I looked it up, and I think none of us had looked it up because I don't think any of us really wanted to know, but it's a year.
I'm focusing on this year. Like, there's so much
I
this year. It's
know.
like, I don't even.
In my head, I thought it was like in November.
I thought it was gonna like lead like right after Loki, like just boom, here we go.
Nope.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe Spider-Man.
But there's a lot.
I don't know.
But there's a lot to watch. So speaking of which, all right, let's do a roundtable. I think we should rate the season. I'll go first just to set it straight here, just because I wrote mine down and I already thought about it. I loved it overall. Getting a weekly show like this was an MCU story told in a brand new way. I'd never really seen anything like this. It's something totally different. 9 episodes, 9 weeks, watching something cut up was just different. Loved all the layers of these MCU characters that I know that'll pay off in big ways in solo films, big crossover events. It's going to make those moments more special. It's already made watching the old stuff more special. And I think all of us got a little crazy with our theories. We talked about this. We had to be kind of put in check with that. But at the end of the day, this was the first Phase 4 title. Said this earlier. It's not like we met Thanos in early stuff. And I think Marvel Studios did knock it out overall. It's a great show. It's going to be helping build the blocks of everything else to come. It's number 24 on the MCU title list. I'm going to go and give the whole series, WandaVision, a 3.3. Giggler, let's get any other thoughts you got on the show here, and absolutely a rating.
For sure. I'm gonna just start with the rating. I don't know why. I just prefer.
That's
to do
fine.
that.
I like how you do it exactly how it feels right.
Yeah. 3.6.
Wow.
It's hard to rate
Solid.
this.
I like that you rate it first. It's cool to just get it done.
It's hard to rate this versus the movies. I don't know if we want to. I won't even compare them. It's just this is like a 6-hour movie.
That makes sense.
So like
I know, and I've also thought about if I go back and watch it all straight before Multiverse of Madness, would it rate higher or lower? I don't know.
yeah, that's what I mean. That's another thing. I don't want to give it too high because I think some of these other shows, obviously, if you're going to compare them, I want to give some leeway up and down. But yeah, I think 3.6 is fair. I love the show. Like like it's hard to replicate like the feeling of excitement when you're about to watch an MCU movie, and I had that feeling every Friday for 2 months.
It's so
Like,
true.
That
Title
that's-
runs
That's like that gave me goosebumps to like think about that because we haven't had that in
ever.
a year and a half.
Well, even like that often.
Yeah.
You get the Marvel title running 7 days later every week.
Yeah. It's like it's been a year and a half since we've seen the last movie, and now we're about to just be bombarded with greatness every
Absolutely.
week for the whole year. So, and I'm ready to talk about it every week.
Do you
for the whole
think?
year.
Do you think you're gonna see that Pietro again?
I think it'll be explained. I like also kind of now that it's still a mystery that we can talk about how, like that was one of the first things we talked about when I was on this podcast on like the 3rd episode. That was one of my 5 questions of how are mutants going to be in the MCU, let alone like we kind of got teased on that already, but we don't know if it's there or not. Who knows? I think there's going to be some relation from Pietro to or the Fietro to mutants, but I think might be March 2022 before we find out more.
Might be a while.
Maybe even later.
Okay, that's fair. PC Mike, tell us how you thought about this show. I'm very excited to hear you talk about this.
I'm excited to tell it. No, pleasantly surprised. I don't think we really talked about it a lot. I know when you gave the rundown, but the Vision versus Vision fight was action packed.
It was.
And I think like we see all these things and we kind of take it for granted, but there really
That's
wasn't
true.
that much action this season like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a breath of fresh air, because I'm still thinking to myself, how in the world did they spend all this money making this? But I mean, that end fight scene was awesome. Yeah, just some unleft questions there that we need to figure out. I'm going to go with my rating as a 3.1. I liked it. I loved Agatha. I thought she kind of fell off towards the end. And like, I saw what she was doing. Like, she's going to use her magic against her, but then she gave her the upper hand a couple times. I was like, oh, the character just kind of fell flat for me towards the end.
Yeah, just like, use your magic. I'll
Like-
suck it.
Like you.
That was all she kept saying.
Yeah.
You hit me. Hit me.
Yeah. And then the Ralph payoff, I really thought it was going to be was it Mephisto or whatever, the devil.
Uh-huh.
And I thought there was going to be more of a payoff there. Like, I don't know, he's in the basement hanging out.
Right.
Because they went to the basement. Like, the devil's going to be in the basement.
Fair.
I wanted some more mutants, but they gave us that teaser. They knew what they were doing with that.
Exactly.
And
That's what I think,
I
too.
don't think they would do this, like, be this mean about it. Like, no, that was really just Ralph. He's an actor. She had a little necklace on him.
Dude,
Made him
yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Like, I'm sorry,
it's-
because I really do start to get just a little angry when I think
It's
about if they
frustrating.
were like, well, we'll just cast one of them.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Well, it'll just piss everybody off.
Yeah, we'll just make everybody upset. They've never done this before.
Yeah.
So,
You can just see it now in like 2 weeks. The premiere of Falcon and Winter Soldier, like Hugh Jackman is an extra in
oh my God.
in,
Yeah.
in one of the episodes.
He
And
just
everyone's
plays-
just like, there he is.
He just
Oh my
plays
God.
UPS driver. Don't do that.
That's yeah,
Don't do
please,
that.
Please
Don't do that.
don't
But-
play with my
Okay.
heart like that.
But overall, it was something fresh. It was something new. I didn't think I'd enjoy a show like this. And I felt like we worked so hard. And then, like I said, I think it started off not bad, but, you know, with the sitcom-ish and getting those little breadcrumbs, and then 5 and 6 and 7, I thought they were amazing. I just thought we fell off just a little bit.
Yeah.
So kind of just like a bell curve with the season. But overall, I'm excited to see where it goes. Her being the most powerful person now is
True.
interesting to me.
Yes.
And is she going to be somebody we have to watch out for later on in
Yeah.
the phases?
Adam's got a lot of shout outs in this episode, but he texted me and was like, is she being built to be a villain or an anti-hero?
I've-
That, like, she, again, we talked about Dark Phoenix and
Like
that
she-
storyline. She just can't, I mean,
She can't control it.
well, and guess what? It happened throughout the whole show, obviously. He couldn't control it. But, like, even at the end, when the people were like, let us go, she, like, lost control again and started choking everybody. I was like, oh, man.
That was messed up.
It was.
It was weird about that one lady who like came up to her and she's like, I just want to see my daughter. She can be whatever you want her to be in this thing, or son or whatever it
That was
was.
Dottie.
Dottie.
Remember
yeah.
the key to everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the-
there's
with the
another
br-
one.
What was the, all right,
Go ahead.
more things.
I mean, this is the time to talk about it. This is the season finale. Like, if you have any leftover thoughts, like, this is
way
it.
back when Dottie got cut and the blood was coming out, I was like, oh, this is going to be a payoff. Like, they
Exactly.
Just, like, whatever happened to that? Like, where?
I mean,
Oh, so many references to the devil. 6 is missing from stuff.
Yep.
Like I
Yeah.
get that Agatha's a witch, but like that doesn't necessarily mean devil, obviously.
well, she did say at the end, you don't know what you've done.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I think
But
And I think that was that. Like, that is just like someone saying in, like, Thor, the first one, where they're like, oh, you don't know about these stones.
Well, tell me.
Well, they will in Thor 2.
yeah, I think it'll have a lot to do with the the chaos magic that was being used. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's a newer reference, and that might be something that could be a big part of what's to come.
And again, Wanda did all this and literally didn't remember any of it until Agatha helped remind her. I don't know if, like, that was all the way up until episode 7 that she was like, just like, I don't know what happened. That's
Wow.
crazy.
And then we hypothetically thought of hundreds of people that could be controlling her, and we were wrong on every single one.
So true. Well, we kind of called Agatha. Like, she was playing a role. She was manipulating,
yeah.
but she wasn't controlling.
It was Agatha all along.
Right. Not really, though.
Yeah,
She just showed up because she heard about it.
it's not anymore. I mean,
Yeah, she'll be back.
she's just gonna be hanging out.
All right, guys. Last call for any final thoughts on WandaVision. I'm excited to rewatch it one day. I will say that, and I wonder what that experience will be like, especially as much as we love rewatching MCU stuff around here.
And I won't complain about the time links when I do rewatch it.
Well, and like, we'll see. We'll see how big this stuff reveals, how long it takes. Listeners, let us know what you thought. Write us in. We'd love to get you featured on Fan Mail. Next up, MCU title, folks. The Falcon and Winter Soldier. 11 days.
It's awesome.
Again, Thursday, so it'll be like 8 days or something like that. But yeah, it's coming out soon. Big week with the Snyder Cut on March 18th,
Yep.
and then
This is the
Falcon
19th.
Winter Soldier on the 19th. This will be, as far as I know, if this format's been working for us, we'll probably keep it as the meat. Either way, we're going to be talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier every week, starting in 2 weeks. That brings us to coming up, and actually, let's just get into it. And I really can't believe like WandaVision's over. Like just like that. Like it was so quick. 9 episodes in and out, so fun. Let us know what you thought. And the reason I said what's going to be happening on the meet, I was just talking about it's up for grabs next week for the first time in 10 weeks. So we don't have to decide today, but maybe we'll, you know how we do. We do the group chat. And if you're listening on Thursday when this comes out or Wednesday on Patreon, we got our first Patreon subscriber.
Nice.
It was the Jock and Nerd podcast.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Got our first one. They're getting the early access to the episodes, plus the pre and post show. Imran, Anthony, and Rug Boy. Appreciate you guys over there.
Hey, Rug Boy's got to get on here.
I know I've got to reach out to him next. He's on my list. And if you can tell with my timing, it's like it'd take a few weeks and then I'll shoot him a text. It's kind of what I did with Imran and Anthony. But listener, let us know. We have the meet up for grabs. Us three will probably decide it, by the time you're hearing this. But if you got an idea, send it in. mostlysuperheroes.com/contact. This week on the music show on Spotify, our spinoff, bringing in the music from the TV and films that I watch. It is Smallville, one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and there's actually an album called it's Smallville Volume 1, The Talon Mix. And The Talon is the cafe where Clark and his friends hang out in the show, and it's music from seasons 1 and 2. So 2001, 2002, it's got some old school bangers on there, some slow jams. Lifehouse is on there.
Hanging by a Moment?
No, that's probably my favorite. That's easily my favorite Lifehouse song. But
there's others?
Oh, yeah. Everything.
I'm in that boat.
Everything
Okay.
is the main thing. And go check that on Spotify. Search Mostly Superheroes, the music show. And I'm probably going to do, there's another album called Smallville, the Metropolis Mix.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to do that
All
next
right,
week.
listeners. Here, Logan needs to put a disclaimer before you listen to it.
Oh, my God.
Because however long that album is just going to be fanboying hard.
Oh, it's
harder than he does on this show.
It's really true. And revisiting I actually told you, I tell you, oh, here's this song. It's from this episode. I was nerding out.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, man. And also, speaking of Smallville, we have a new CW show to watch, potentially, and The Flash just came back last week.
Did it really?
Yeah. I guess it's it ended abruptly last year in the
It did.
middle of the Mirror Master storyline or what,
Yeah, they threw together a season finale on episode 17.
And so I
And
guess
for
they're
them,
gonna,
that's a
5
third of the
early.
way through
Yeah.
the season.
yeah.
That's right.
So maybe that's something we could talk
So we got
about.
Superman and Lois.
Hey.
I've talked about this on a mini episode that it's on our radar that we're going to talk about it, and that even though we said we were going to binge it, I don't know if we'll be able to make it.
I don't think we will, but we've actually seen some positive reviews for it.
I agree. I've heard
I'm-
the same thing. That it's cinematic, it's dramatic, and it's like Superman as a father, and you've never seen this on screen before.
As dumb as it sounds, I'm excited that I'm excited for a CW show again.
I know exactly what you mean. I'm excited to be excited about a Superman TV show.
That too.
Could it be good? Please.
I hate to say this, but I was like, Flash is still on?
Flash has gotten a little bad.
It's the same with all those shows. It's almost just too much
Arrow
now.
Arrow
Legends,
did okay.
I loved Arrow. But Legends of Tomorrow was a little much.
Oh, it's like their wild show,
That's
their
like-
wild
yeah.
card show.
I was watching it every week just to see the connections to the other shows, and I was like, it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Even the Flash, dude, is just it's so heavy on the love story of him and Iris. And I get it, they're playing to this younger generation. I'm just can I just see the Flash fight King Shark again?
Guess how many episodes of The Flash there are?
Please. Well, for this current season?
Total. From 2014 on.
Oh, 52.
No, there's probably
Oh, there's got to be way more than that. I'm an idiot.
140.
You're very close. 133
I wasn't
episodes.
even close. I'll clap, but it's too many.
So many. And they're like a solid 40-something minute shows, right?
I'll say this
Yeah.
though, I've been a big fan of the Flash since day one though. It's what got me into all the crossover stuff. CW, no one gives a lot of credit, but
Right back there.
they've got the crossover stuff happening.
I almost said
Oh, yeah,
I almost said a Flash line when you were talking about WandaVision.
What was it?
It was actually from Justice League when you said they battle. And it's like, battle? I don't even know how to battle. You guys know how to battle. I think he's hilarious.
Oh yeah, hey, I just watched Justice League this on a few days ago. I just watched it.
Oh, we're just all talking about possible meets for next week.
We got a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
we'll
text
have,
about
like-
it. Let's keep it. We'll figure it out. But it's up for grabs. So
Meet for next week. Everyone be caught up on the Flash TV series. Watch 133 episodes.
yeah, start right now. Maybe we should talk about Justice League.
Maybe.
Honestly, we could even have mini meets, multiple mini meets, like a little app, like
We could-
appetizers and
Yeah, like we could just do like little 15-minute things or something and just hit it real quick. All right, we'll talk about it. We'll let you guys know. Look, we are panicking when there's like not an MCU show. It's like, what are we going to talk about?
what do we do?
There is going to be, I think it is this week. I think there's an MCU behind the scenes, like expanding the universe or something documentary. They're going to do one for every show, and WandaVision's the first one.
I did
So
see that.
I think
I
that
did
comes.
see
I
that.
think that comes out Friday. But
You were right.
we'll keep an eye on it. Maybe we'll probably talk about that. And they did a Legends TV show, which is like reintroducing you to the characters. So before WandaVision, they did one for Wanda, they did one for Vision. Now they are live. I have not watched them yet. There's one for Falcon. There's one for Winter Soldier. That's on
Those-
Disney Plus.
Those are like 8 minutes long.
They're so short.
Okay.
It's
Those are
like
good watch.
it's. I mean, it's not as good as this show, but it'll help you out.
True.
Yep. Don't worry, Mike. We're going to talk about the Mostly Madness movie tournament. Also, check out the schedule at mostlysuperheroes.com. What do you got on the tourney for us, Mike?
I thought you wanted to highlight one matchup and
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
get people
No,
to think about
let's
it.
do it. Let's do it. And, like, we'll pick. You got a blank one? Andy, do us the honors and pick us one matchup that we, us three, just have to give. We can just give, like, the quick take as we wrap up today's episode.
All right. Trying to think of a meaty one here.
Just pick. Just any of them. Any of them.
All right, let's do Forgetting Sarah Marshall versus Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
I
Jurassic Park.
agree.
All right.
That was a bad choice.
Step Brothers versus Avengers Infinity War. Mine's easy. Infinity War.
Like, there's like maybe,
Step Brothers.
Ooh.
I don't think there's hardly any movies that would beat Infinity War for me. So,
But
but I also like that Infinity War and Endgame are in the same quadrant of the bracket, so that they won't just get it over with. See which one's better.
it's because it's
and
going to
then
happen.
put it up against other stuff. But I think there could be crazy upsets where maybe neither of those makes the finals.
Here's the thing, dude. I've already started seeing some of our fan stuff. Like, I mean, everybody is so different. It is going to be awesome. It's going to be such a mess of like, oh my gosh, that movie didn't even make it out of the first round.
And that's why we
And
did
it won mine. That's exactly why
Yeah.
we did it.
I'm so excited though. I have
Would you pick Superbad or Forrest Gump?
I would go Forrest Gump.
super bad.
Forrest Gump.
See, we're gonna have some debates in here already. I can tell.
Well,
We
that's
have
why
to-
that's why I said keep it quick, because like I'd love to hash out some with you guys on air.
But it might change tomorrow.
It's so true. It's like a moment by moment thing. But that's why I said I put down my pen and I'm like, I can't fill this out.
Put down your pen, change to pencil.
Yep. Listener, send in your bracket, mostlysuperheroes.com/mostly madness. We are so excited to do this tournament with you guys. It's going to be our annual tournament, and we're starting voting next week. So get your brackets sent in. Fun episode today, guys. This was a good week.
Yeah, it was fun.
I loved it.
It was fun. I liked keeping it fresh, and you guys had some good what you watchings. Andy, final thoughts as we sign off for the week. Any words of wisdom for our fan base that's growing every single week, and we thank you guys.
Yes, thank you for sure. For listening to me talk for whatever reason.
People
Never
people know you. People like write in. They're like, "How's PC Mike and the Giggler?"
That's awesome. Thank you for that. For real. Honestly, I need to correct myself earlier when we were on the Guy Fieri talk.
Go ahead.
Darnell Ferguson was the guy that I'm picking to win it all. I actually don't even know if he's in it yet because they haven't released the full bracket. But wanted to give him a shout out for a superhero love, and I said the name of his restaurant incorrectly, embarrassingly. But
Let's hear it
it's
now.
Super Chefs. Me and Mike were looking at the menu, and now we're very hungry. So
Breakfast, lunch, brunch.
Oh my gosh,
That's good.
yeah, I'm hungry too.
He had like scorpion pancakes or something like that. Get over here.
Where is it? Where's this restaurant?
oh, that's a good question. I got it pulled up.
You look
on
it
my
up.
Google right
While
now.
you're doing that, PC Mike, final words for the squad.
I think Elizabeth Olsen is a bona fide star.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see where all of this goes. I'm excited for Mostly Madness. I'm excited for things looking better all across the country, all across the world. And man, we get content week after week. We have Snyder Cut coming up. I'm a DC guy. my hopes are too high right now for it. But
Oh boy, I love it because me and Andy get to play roles reversed and be like, we'll keep you in check.
Yep.
yeah, because we were
Even though you're a DC guy too, you're a Batman dude, but I think that you and I are more on the same page about
Yeah, definitely.
MCU versus like DC world. You know?
But I'm giving it a chance. I want this to be a jumping off point where this Snyder Cut is great and they can make movies from it, make shows on HBO Max, anything. I don't care if you copy the MCU like program of how they're doing things.
Oh yeah, use
just do
the
it.
formula. Use the
Like-
formula, like, and just apply it to DC characters. Like, there's something there to use. I think you're right.
They tried it the first time, they got ahead of themselves, and I think that's a lot of the what people say badly about the Justice League movie overall is just they should have built more characters up beforehand. But I think extending the movie to 4 hours might be a way to shed light on that, or it might totally suck. I have no idea.
I really hope in a couple months or even a year, there's another tab on this website
Oh man,
that
for
has DC.
a DC page.
Yeah. All right, I got the update.
Go ahead. Where's
For-
the restaurant? What's it called? One more time in the location, just because we got worldwide listeners, so we got to help them out.
Darnell Ferguson. We are coming for Super Chefs in Louisville,
Louisville, Kentucky.
Kentucky.
For our listeners in other countries, that's a state. That's a state in the
Let's
United
see,
States. Louisville. That's right.
let's see how long of a drive that is. Maybe we just go.
Not
there.
too far.
We don't need a GPS it right now, but it's probably 6 hours.
4.
Road trip.
How far is it?
We can 4 hours. We can just
Oh, wow.
record an episode there.
Pack it up. All right, we'll let you know. All right, fellas, it was fun as always. Can't wait to see you in here next week. Plenty to talk about. The tournament is live. The MCU is happening. We got DC stuff all around. And yeah, I agree with PC Mike. We got a horizon in sight, and things are feeling better. We're here for you every week. Keep listening. Tell a friend. Subscribe. Give us a review. You guys mean the world to us. We got the best fans in the world already. And we'll see you next time on Mostly Superheroes.